sweating.
How are we doing? Welcome back. Sponsor again. So everybody who's watching and listening, going over to www.footballpools.com/cosh and you get 4 free games with the footballpools.com. £10 subscription, chance to win £3 million.
It's not a lot, is it?
What, £3 million? Oh, high roller here.
I won't mind winning it. You know what I mean? I'd fuck your off. That'll be the end of the Undr The Cosh, I'll tell you. I've been sat on a fucking Copacabana beach, feet up, belly just growing by the day.
£10 a month.
£10 a month, £2 a week, basically.
Yeah. So it's that same old game that they've been playing since the 1920s. My dad used to play, my granddad used to play, and they've just brought it rolling.
Do you know what it is?
With a website.
Never change your winning team.
Exactly.
If it works,
What it is.
If it works,
Don't
just keep
fix
on
it if
doing
it's not broke.
Exactly.
The thing is that people have a £2 accumulator every Saturday, don't
Exactly,
they?
yeah.
You know what I mean? And what's your chances of winning what? Well, no chance of winning fucking £3 million anyway, have you?
True.
You know what I mean? From a £2 accumulator.
So if you don't know, 3 points for a score draw,
Yes.
2 points for a no score draw, 1 point if a team wins.
All losers.
All losers.
So you're guaranteed a point.
So you're guaranteed a point.
Yeah.
Is that right? You win a car?
Oh, you can win a car, all right. 20 points and above. Go prize draw, you can win a £20,000 car. Not bad. New car.
Get it from A to
New
B.
car.
Yeah.
£75,000 cash. Drop it off in a suitcase.
Drop it off in a Leon Knight plastic bag, do
They
they?
do.
Yeah. You can also win a trip to Madrid.
Hospitality trip, all expenses paid.
Madrid against PSG.
PSG.
Right.
26th of November.
Right.
When you get up, you've loved it. Real Madrid, PSG, the Champions League experience. That music's playing. Fantastic. Get a bit of paella on way home.
Is that the end of your trip?
Bit of a sleep. Oh no.
No.
That is not the end of the trip, my friend. Get up in the morning, hop over to Barcelona.
What?
Extended.
Barcelona against?
Borussia Dortmund.
Oh,
See, 2 good games.
bucket list trips then, by the way.
Yeah.
2 in 2 days. So yeah, all you got to do is get over to www.footballpools.com/cosh and get your 4 free games with your £10 subscription.
Come on.
Get in. Come on. I can't wait for Saturdays now. I'm wishing the week away.
Gerry Taggart, how are you doing?
Yeah, very well, thanks.
Thanks for coming on.
Yeah,
Not a
cheers,
problem.
mate.
No problem, Chris.
You've
Dr. Barnsley, man.
Absolutely.
Fucking can't leave the
Can't leave the place, mate. We wake up every morning, see those rolling hills. You forget about what's underneath them.
He was on your shit list this morning, though, wasn't he?
Oh, yeah, big time.
So anybody who knows, when John takes over the admin or whatever on Twitter, there's always spelling errors and stuff.
Mistakes.
Mistakes.
Yeah.
Piss up and brewery comes to mind, John, basically.
I thought you were going to be pissed when we got
Yeah,
here. The fact
well.
that you were 2 hours early.
Jesus.
What's happened is I've put 1 I clock instead of 1 o'clock.
Capital I as well.
Yeah, so obviously Tags has thought it's 11. So I get a message at 3 minutes past 11, where are you? I'm just sat with a cup of coffee watching cricket, just watching Christopher.
Bearing in mind, let me just clarify, I did say after 12, and it did look like 11, but anyway, you need to get them fucking fingers slim down, mate.
It's them sausage fingers,
Yeah.
that's what it is.
So yeah. So
Well,
he put it on the group, say. So I said, "There's a lesson there for you, John." And he put, "Yes, don't text with one eye closed."
I just sat with my coffee, just watching fucking Broad's first over. Where are you? Oh fuck! I've done it again.
He texted us, going, "Get a wriggle on." He's there, as if it was our fault.
Well, it was lucky. I was telling John I was in my gym gear anyway, and I was a bit sweaty, so I needed to go home and have a shower, so it wasn't too bad.
Worked out for best. It's worked out for. All's well that ends well.
I need to.
And yes, I still go to the gym, believe it or not.
I was surprised. I was surprised there wasn't a bite.
on there.
There wasn't a bite then.
only every now and again, though. It's not every day.
I'm not surprised at all.
Thanks, John.
You have come up a few times before with other guests, Dean Windass in particular.
Aye.
Yes.
Robbie Savage, you mentioned about a bit of a ruckus on the field with him.
Oh, well, there's loads of stories I could tell you about Sav, but the one in particular you probably mentioned about Dean is when Sav got Dean sent off in a game at Filbert Street, I think it was. And obviously you know, Dean being Dean, you know, Dean's a jovial chap, you know, happy-go-lucky, loves life, all this here, but when it comes to his football, he's like everybody else, and Sav managed to get under his skin, which Sav was very good at, getting under people's skin in a football game. And I suppose when you watch football today, there's not a lot goes on the pitch.
Yeah.
You know, no one tells anybody off anymore for giving the ball away or not winning a header or the keeper not coming and catching a cross. It's all unlucky, mate.
Yeah, shite in it.
Yeah, unbelievable.
Really?
And then none of the opposition are giving each other, you know, in each other's ear, giving them shit all the way through the game. But Sav was one of the best at it. You know, and he was giving Dean Windass shit all the game. You know, the usual talking about your missus being out last night and all this, you know.
Oh, yeah.
Classic.
I always got to face the women into it.
That old chestnut.
You know, all that sort of stuff. And, you know, obviously Dean was fuming. I was obviously marking Dean that day. And,
Were you fueling the fire?
Well, yeah, you know, well, I didn't have to, basically. You know, I'd known Dean for years anyway, so I didn't have to. I just kept him in my pocket. Let him out afterwards, but unfortunately he didn't last till the end of the game. Anyway, so he goes, he's getting Sav's in his ear saying you're shit this, you're shit that, you know, your missus this, your missus that, whatever. And anyway, flips, nasty challenge, straight red card. And he's fuming. And then after the game, I'm coming out of the dressing room and I pop Dean and So sorry, I'm walking down and he's walking up the players lounge, and he says, so he comes up and he goes, "Hey, Tags, where's that fucking wanker Savage?" And he says, "Oh, he's over there. He's just gone.
Let me just pull the pin out this grenade. 1 second.
He's just gone into the players lounge here." So off he trots, with the old smoke coming out of the ears scenario, and then he pops. But this is where again Savage, brilliant by him. He spots Windass, can see that he's not best pleased at what's going off on the pitch. But before Dean's making his way over, Sav sees him, goes to him, turns around, goes to him, goes, "Hiya, Dean, come and meet my mum and dad." I got there and just totally diffuses the situation, because obviously by this time you're thinking Dean Windass is going to like lay one on him. Thankfully that didn't happen, because as sure as eggs are eggs, you know, Sav would have been planted on it.
Yeah. It's a brilliant story, but it's one of them you think there's arms and legs being added to that. But if you're saying it's true, it's
it's definitely true. I probably got the game. I don't know if it was I can't remember whether it was at the old Fulber Street or whether it was away at home. Now, Dean Windass has played for that many clubs in the past. I'm struggling to remember which one he was actually playing for at the time. Bradford.
Paul Jewell was manager, wasn't it?
Yeah, Bradford. Yeah, so it was definitely. I remember. I was going to say Hull, but they're similar colour shirts, aren't they? Definitely Bradford. That was it, and it was at Fulber Street. Yeah.
Is it good having Savage on side? Could you before again just give him the fuel? Listen, he's going to snap. He's going to snap. Get into him.
Well, no, he wouldn't really do that. The main thing was playing under Martin O'Neill. He was very. He kept things very simple for all the players, and one of the things was not to give the ball to Sav. Yeah, and I'll tell you, for instance, so we're playing Arsenal or whatever one day, and I'm coming out with the ball. We played 3 centre halves, so when you had the ball or the keeper grab it, invariably whoever played on the left or the right would find himself in a bit of space when the keeper would roll the ball out. So I'm on the left, get the ball off the keeper, Tim Flowers, and I can see Sav's coming short for it. So I've rolled it into him. He's given the ball away. Opposition's gone through, hit the bars, or Tim saved it. It's gone over for a corner. Gets in at half time, and you know it's 0-0 at half time. And he comes in, and O'Neill, he was like the most intense manager you've ever met. Half time, full time, didn't matter. And he came in at half time. I'm thinking, I've done all right here. I shouldn't be
shit with 0-0.
Yeah, I shouldn't be first on the list for a bollocking today. So when I sat right next to the door, so the changing room door was on my right. So in would fucking rush come O'Neill like a herd of elephants, and invariably the first thing he would say, "Right," he'd go, and he had this voice of like he'd really get high, not high pitched, but really severe and really strong, and as if he really meant it. So he'd come in and he'd go, "Right, sit yourselves fucking down. So you're thinking of...
We're 0-0. We're 0-0 against Arsenal. We've done all right.
Here we fucking go. So, straight away, turns to his left. Who's there? Fucking me, right? And he goes, Gerry, pal, what have I fucking told you? How long have you been with me now? He goes, you can give the ball to Neil Lennon. You can give the ball to Muzzy. Muzzy, is it? But don't give it to fucking Savage. You know he can't play fucking football. So what do you say to that?
What does Savage say to that?
Oh, he says nothing. Absolutely nothing. So obviously there's no comeback from that for me. You know, because invariably I would always have to pipe up and say something back because he'd blame me for something that happened that wasn't even my fault or something along those lines. But in this instance, I just had to nod and go, yeah, fair enough, boss, yeah.
Understood.
So after he left the room, obviously I've gone to Sav, says, don't ever fucking ask the ball off me again, right? Because you're not fucking getting it. Simple as that there. And he's like, yeah, okay then.
I feel sorry for him.
This is a player who's played, what, 400 games in the Premier League? And the managers tell you not to pass the ball to him because he's
Don't
shit.
give him the ball.
And the fact that he doesn't stick up for himself either, he just takes it.
But Gaffer, I can handle the ball,
Yeah.
Gaffer. I can't. No.
No, but that was O'Neill. You know, everything was black and white as much as it could be. You know, and that was one of the things that he would insist on, is give it to the players who can play. Sal was there to run around and cause a bit of upset, which, you know, he was very, very good at. He great energy levels for our team. You know, in a team full of predominantly fit lads, apart from the lads at the back. But, you know, he did a good job, but just don't give him the ball, Gerry, and you'll be fine.
Was he that good, O'Neill?
Yeah, I think so. I think his coaching methods were pretty, I'm not saying basic, but him himself, all his work and where he made his money was all in the dressing room. He'd get you ramped up. He'd make you believe you could beat anybody on your day. You know, he'd tell you how you were going to win a game. So his tactics would be how you're going to win this game. He'd talk you through how you're going to win it. And more often than not, that would come to fruition. Yeah. You know what I mean? All right, you take away your Arsenals and your Man U's at that time, but even Man U, you know, if you look at Leicester's record against Man U under O'Neill, it's not bad. Arsenal were the bogey team for us at the time, but you know, we were a match for most teams back then, apart from obviously those two.
You see more a man manager than anything else. Because from an outside perspective, from a fan's point of view, I always thought he was a progressive manager, seen at that time to be somebody who's coming in and changing things up a bit as a young manager. I think tactically he was very, very astute. Putting round pegs and round holes, no one better for me. And on the other occasion, he would have to he brought Frank Sinclair in, who could play centre half or wing back. So again, no, there was a reason why he didn't bring in another 6'3", 6'4" giant. You know, he brought a Frank Sinclair in who could do both jobs, and that worked brilliantly as well. So he was all about putting round pegs and round holes. So he knew exactly what he wanted for what position. You know, he had Muzzy is it in there, for me a very, very underrated player, and he had Lenny, who was the old head in that midfield, just controlled the midfield, didn't do too much on the ball, and then he had Sav just to go and upset people. Yeah. You know, he created that position for Sav, because Sav came to Leicester as a winger and he was shite as a winger. I
can't imagine him playing on the wing I'll be honest.
Proper shite. But you put him in that midfield area and he went around and just upset people. And then on the left he had Steve Guppy, who was on as a wing back, but Gups was an out and out left midfielder, left winger. He couldn't, you know, he was afraid of his own shadow, Gups. He wouldn't be afraid telling you that. But you give him the ball, you knew there was top class coming into the box. You know, so it was all about round pegs and round holes.
Got him in the England squad, didn't he?
Absolutely, yeah. And one or two others.
It's not bad, is it?
Yeah. Got Muzzy in the semi-final of the World Cup in 2002. Muzzy is a Turkey. Turkey. And obviously Emil.
Just hasn't, you know, like the last few years, because I always thought he got the Sunderland job. I'm a Sunderland fan. And when he came to Sunderland, I thought, we've cracked
Brilliant,
it.
yeah.
But for whatever reason, I don't know. And obviously since then,
I think it's because football's moved on.
That's what I mean. Is it? Can you see why
I don't know what his management style is like now, but obviously you think you have to change as a manager as the players change, because sooner or later, if you don't, then you lose your dressing room. So.
Especially as a man manager, because players are completely different breed now than back in your day.
I think it all boils down to being given the funds to change the players that he wanted to change, and I think at Sunderland he wasn't really able to do that. I'm not sure where the finances are.
Yeah,
Villa,
I think so.
he was, and he got them top 6 3 years on the bench. Then obviously went to what he did with Leicester and Celtic. Getting Celtic to the final of Europa League or whatever it was called back then, and then going to Villa, getting them top 6 3 years on the bench. Then going to Sunderland, which was a bit more difficult for him because he wasn't able to bring in the players I think that he wanted. So maybe that might have been an issue for him. I don't think he ever lost the dressing room though.
A player now, right, if you're sat in a dressing room and the manager's telling the rest of the lads not to pass the ball to you, the first thing you're doing is you're phoning your agent saying, get me fucking out of here. If this guy thinks I'm shite, right, he don't even want me to have the ball. So, you know what I mean?
How was he with you? Because you like a drink? And
he didn't mind players having a drink. No, he didn't mind players having a drink. Simple as all he was bothered about is what you did on a Saturday. But obviously, I wasn't one of those. Like when you've got I always break my career up into phases. Yeah. When I was at Barnsley from 90 to 95, like I was just a fucking party animal.
So that's why he's not moved on.
That's why you're back.
And then for the first 6 months when I went to Bolton, it was pretty much the same. And then I sort of cracked down on it. I had kids, sort of cracked down. Still enjoyed a Saturday night out. But, I remember when I joined Barnsley, I was in fucking Japanese Whispers 4 nights a week. It opened
a nightclub.
Of course it is.
It only opened 3 nights a week, but I was there before. So, and then obviously when I went to Leicester, I had to curb it down again because I'm playing with better players. So for me to get into the team, I needed to wind my neck in a bit, as I say. So, but I came from clubs who like to play football. O'Neill didn't want a centre halves playing football.
Yeah.
So that was the conflict that we always had, was, i.e. the instance where I passed the ball in the midfield to Savage. He didn't want me doing that. He wanted me getting the ball forward as quick as he could. Now, if Steve Guppy or Muzzy was in a load of space, that was fine. But under pressure, he wanted me to get the ball up the Heskey. And again, another one, he came in one day and fucking goes through the door again. I'm there on the left. And he comes in and again, he put that voice, I'm fucking morphing now back into fucking
method actor.
So I know, I told you. I'm good at this acting. So he comes in and again, I don't know what I've been doing. He goes, I'm fucking passing tippy-tappy football. There you go. He goes, Gerry, for fuck's sake. He goes, you've got the quickest fucking forward in the English fucking Premier League and you want to play tippy-tappy fucking football. And he was on the board and he had the marker and he's on the board and he's Xing me off at the bottom. And as he's saying it, as he's Xing me off, so he's X'd me off and he goes, get it. And fucking hit it, and he's throwing a big black line into the channel with an arrow on it, and then he did it again. He goes, get it and fucking hit it, just get it and fucking hit it. Okay, boss.
To be fair though, for you as a player, that must have been like, well, if that's what he wants me to do,
if that's what he wants me to do,
bang,
that's what I'll do. And then if I do it, it's not my fucking fault.
I can't imagine Heskey were right happy for fucking chasing.
Well, but that's we had Heskey and Cuddy. Tony Cuddy wasn't going to fucking chase it, was he? He'd chase it inside the box, but anywhere else, he had no chance. So it was down. Basically, Emile would run all day for you, and run the channels all day for you. So that was his theory. Okay, fine. So yeah, you could say for the first 18 months we didn't see eye to eye a lot of the time.
Yeah.
I used to be a standing joke because Tony Cuddy used to sit across from me, the dressing room, say where Chris is, And he used to sit there, and everyone knew what was coming. And he'd just look up, the little fucker, and he'd just start laughing at me while I'm in the middle of a bollocking, because O'Neill would always have his back to Tony Cotty. So while I'm getting the bollocking, Tony Cotty would just look up with a little fucking snigger on his face while I'm in the middle of a bollocking. Well, you little fucker, I'll get you.
Going right back then, you learned your trade at Man City. Was it? Did they pick you up in Belfast
Yes.
and bring you over?
Yeah, absolutely. Well, there was myself and Neil Lennon. At the time, we grew up together in a little town called Lurgan. So, but we used to play. You play all over Northern Ireland, all these competitions, and then the big one was the Milk Cup. It's called something different now, but it's still like a massive tournament. So we used to play on that, and that's how we got scouted by Man City Scouts. So we actually moved to Man City at the same time.
So how old were you?
16.
Right.
So 1987, yeah. Not fucking 1957. Let's get that straight. So yeah, that was it. Moved into digs. But we were meant to move into the same digs, Lenny, but something had happened. So he ended up in Stockport, I ended up in Altrincham. So I definitely got the best end of the school there. Just right on the border with Hale, so it was a bit nicer for me.
Yeah.
But yeah, that was it. You know, and absolutely loved it. You know, absolutely loved it. Moved in with another Northern Irish guy called Lindsay Curry, who was a year older. So we moved in. Well, actually, the coach driver for Man U and Man City. So we used to drive both teams on the way. Obviously, when you've got two clubs in one city, you can't play at home. So he used to drive the bus for both teams on away days.
Right, yeah.
So we moved in with him and his wife. He used to be a wrestler as well, so you weren't fucking about with him. If he said it was bedtime, it was bedtime. He was a fucking wrestler. And Ron Atkinson used to, still to this day, when I see Ron Atkinson, he always brings up Big Dale Boy, because he used to be a fucking wrestler back in the heyday, you know.
So you're learning your trade off, like, are you looking up to Colin Hendry there a bit older than you?
No, it'd have been, well, Man City at that time was a really young side. They had Paul Lake, David White, Andy Hinchcliffe,
Research again, innit?
all those.
Colin Hendry would have been there, would he?
No, Colin wasn't there. No.
He's already told you.
No, but I would just clutching at straws.
Yeah.
You can't, if you say it 4 times.
I know. Eventually he'll stick.
I think financially Man City weren't in a good place then, so they had to rely on all their young lads, which they had a girth of, because I think that all these young lads had won the FA Youth Cup a couple of years on the bench or something back then. And so myself and Neil and another guy called Michael Hughes were the next sort of generation coming through. But they were like established already. They had already been blooded, so they had now taken over. So the team was filled with like 19, 20, 21 year olds, nobody older than that. Well, there was people older than that, but that was after we started doing well. The manager at the time got a bit of cash. But it was really, I suppose, when I was first there, Tony Burke was a youth team coach. He captained the team, managed all that. They were the last team to win a cup. He was a captain of it, Tony Burke, and he was a great coach, you know. So he taught me a lot while I was there as a kid, and then I managed to break into the team. Funnily enough, as a left back for Andy Hinchcliffe, he had a really bad back, and so Mel Machin was a manager, and he said, "Oh, you're playing tomorrow." It was away at Southampton. I knew I was in the squad because we had to travel. And he says, "Oh, you're playing left back." I'm like, "What?" I don't fucking play left back. Have you ever seen me at left back? And he went, "Well, you've got to do a job tomorrow." So he stuck me in at left back.
How old were you then?
18.
Straight.
Away at Portsmouth. So, yeah, it was not the easiest.
A nice introduction.
Yeah, absolutely. But thankfully, we won the game 1-0. The guy I was marking got taken off just after half time, so job done.
Done the job.
And then we went up that season. We got promoted back to the old First Division. So it was a good season.
And did you, once you got in, did you play most of that rest of that?
I only played about 9 times because I was basically I was a centre half obviously, but I filled in for Andy Hinchcliffe because he was in and out with his back all the time. But I was always in the squad or on the bench. But as soon as I got in, I was always in and around the first team. But it was in verb. I remember coming on once at right back. I played 2 games at right back, believe it or not. And one was when you might not remember, they changed the ruling around doctors sitting behind the benches now, or even on the benches now, whereas they used to sit up in the director's box. Paul Lake swallowed his tongue on the pitch. And
One way to run
I
down.
can't believe
innit?
that was ever a rule.
I know.
yeah,
I had to sit in the stand.
yeah. And the doctor took the doctor about a minute and a half to get onto the pitch, and Paul Lake's dying on the pitch in front of everybody. Thankfully, the physio ran on and did the job for the doc. And I had to come on for Paul Lake at right back. He was playing right back that day.
That's
But-
him. Bez mentioned him, didn't he?
Yeah.
Was he some player?
Paul Lake, oh fuck me, proper.
Yeah.
Top drawer. He had to finish with his knee when he was about 24, but yeah, top player. So yeah, I came on there, and then the week after, because we won the game 4-2, I think we're actually playing Leicester at Ipswich at Main Road. The week after would they go to Blackburn Rovers, who were a good team as well, and they had Scott Sellers on the left wing, and I played right back. Fucking hell.
He was rapid. So
Yeah, fucking see you later, Tags. Absolute stinker. I never played right back again after. Beat us 4-0 as well.
So you went to Barnsley, was it just... You dropped down the league?
Had Mel got sacked and then got the job at Barnsley?
Yeah, what happened was Hard Kendall came in.
Yeah.
Mel got the sack. They were struggling that season, to be fair, Man City. So they sacked Mel. Hard Kendall came in. And then Mel had just got the job here at Barnsley, so he was the first player. I was the first player he came in for.
Yeah.
So I joined in the January 1990. Yeah, and talk about fucking an eye opener.
Had you realised by this time that you liked a night out then?
No, not really.
It's only when you arrived in Barnsley.
I used to go out. I had a girlfriend at the time over in Altrincham, and we used to go out on a Saturday night and we'd have a Chinese takeaway, book a room in a hotel, because she still lived with her mum, and I was in digs with you forgot to ask me, I used to live in digs with 3 euro stesses, believe it or not. And that's another fucking story. That's another podcast.
A wrestler and 3 euro stitches, I imagine it is.
Well, I moved out of Lab Digs, moved literally 3 doors down to a pilot who literally moved out and went to live in the Isle of Man and rented his house out to me in 3 euro stesses. So that was
some transfer.
That's
an upgrade, isn't it?
fun and games. It was all right for the first 6 months. You know, you'd be sat down, and every half an hour they'd come up and say, tea, coffee, drink from the bar.
Hot towel. Half an hour.
Yeah, but anyway.
I bet you knew where the exits were, didn't you?
Well, I was going to say, I've got to keep leaving all the fucking lights on, leading you to the nearest fucking exit. So the electricity bill was extortionate. But anyway, that's another story. But yeah, I came to Barnsley. Can't remember what the question was now. Someone asked me.
Did you like a drink?
Oh no, so yeah, me and my missus, my girlfriend at the time, we'd go out on a Saturday night after a game, and we'd go like a Chinese, have a couple of drinks, a bottle of fucking, Lambrusco or whatever it was. Or what was that Portuguese one you always used to love, that's still about now, Mateus Rosé. If you were having an Indian, a bottle of Mateus Rosé. Then stay in a hotel. I used to get cheap because I played for City. And then that was it. Go to bed, have a shag, and go home the next day. You know what I mean? And that was it. That was literally
That
it.
was your night out.
Yeah, or else, literally, if you went out with a couple of other lads who were in digs, you're talking 3-4 pints tops and then home. That was it. And then I'd say, come to Barnsley. Fuck me. What an eye-opener.
I'm not being funny, right? I've said this to you lots of times. It used to be like Ibiza.
I remember you saying.
Barnsley it used to be fucking mad.
I've got friends who've had their stag do's in Barnsley. Don't want to go abroad.
You lived in Ibiza.
Don't want to go to Dublin. We want to come to Barnsley for my stag do. I'm telling you.
I tell you, mate, honestly, it used to be pretty much every night of the week it was rammed, busy.
It's mad because I have been, and it wasn't like Ibiza, but it's a proper route, innit? So if you walk into a bar 10 minutes too late, you've missed the boat. Everyone's fucked off. You've just got to.
Usually the case, right? If I were getting back late from a game, right, and it was 9:10, I didn't have to phone anyone. I knew which pub
where to be.
Straight in. And if it was like 9:25, and you were in the next one. You didn't have to phone anyone. It used to be like a
great,
route that everyone knew. Oh, it used to be fucking brilliant.
And end up in Japanese whispers.
It weren't. It was
That was before his time.
Yeah,
Right.
that was before Japanese. This was the night.
Sounds incredible.
Yeah. Apparently it were. And there used to be a hotel bang across the road, pretty much bang across the road from the Queen's Hotel. So you could fall out of there into there if you.
Well, well, this is one of the stories I was going to tell, because when I moved to Barnsley, I was put in the Queen's Hotel, and I ended up there for 6 months. Right, I should have only been there for 2 or 3 months, but I was having a bit of issue with the house I was buying at the time, and so I couldn't move in. They kept delaying it. I'd say thankfully, but I don't know if it was the best or the worst decision that Michael Spinks, was it? The old club secretary made, because he decided to put me in there and not Brooklands, because that was obviously the other option where we are now. And so then after 2 months, he says, "Oh, you're going to have to get out." And I says, "I can't get out. I can't move into my house." I said, I've got a house. I bought a house, but I can't move in." And he's saying, "Well, you're going to have to pay." I says, "I'm not fucking paying." I says, "All my money's gone in this house." I said, but at that time, he started bringing these T-shirts out. On my first game, I played a reserve match, an old reserve match, and I broke my wrist in a reserve game. So I had to go to hospital that night and get it bandaged. Next morning, I had a cast put on it. But then I made my debut on the Saturday at Brighton, and I scored on my debut. I just come on at half time, but got a corner, bang, 1-0. So since then on in, I turned up the week after it at Oakwell, and there's about 1,000 fans with fucking bandages on in the Ponty end.
It's like Michael Jackson's one glove, isn't it? The Taggart bandage.
Yeah. So Michael Spinks starts making all these fucking T-shirts with my photograph on it with "He's Ireland's number one." Ooh, Gerry. So I had this song, "Ooh, Gerry, Gerry. Ooh, Gerry." So he started making all these T-shirts with me with a bandage on and all this, going like that. So I'm saying, "You're making all these fucking T-shirts. I'm not getting any money off it." It's just, "Well, I'm not paying for the fucking hotel." So I went and seen the manager. He had a word with Spinksy. He said, "All right." Next thing you know, it was fucking the end of the season when I moved out. And you can imagine, the hotel is literally 50 yards, if it's a yard, from Whispers. And
it's only a lob wedge at most.
Yes, if that, I'm telling you. And let's just say there was a lot of love going on in Barnsley. But I promise you.
Did you ever get any?
Did you keep the bandage on?
Well,
for effect?
listen, I tell you, you talk to anyone who was around at that time, it was incredible. The following, and I don't know why, but obviously it stemmed from me scoring on my debut. But they obviously liked the way I played football, or what I did off the ball rather than on it. I.e., there was no holds barred basically, and they just talked to me. And that was it. So it was like, you walk around town, obviously you're like a fucking minor celebrity sort of thing, but it was great. It was great crack, but I didn't expect it. I didn't ask for it. And that's what the biggest eye-opener was, because everything about Barnsley just sort of fucking fell into my lap, and it was great. For those 6 months, it was fantastic.
Did you ever get any hassle on a night out then?
Every now and again, but it was all... all mouth.
So what night did you stop? Thursday?
No, I go out on Thursday. Yeah. I wouldn't go out on Friday. That was it. So Monday night was freeing for the ladies. So I go in the Monday night. Yeah.
Can't knock, can you?
Wednesday night was what they call locally as Pots for Rags night. You get all the hippies and the punks and all them. So Wednesday was your day off. So I used to go out all day on a Wednesday, and then hit Whispers, and then just hop across the road to bed. Thursday night was the best night for me. You know what I mean? It was, and then obviously Saturday night. So 4 nights a week.
When I was younger, wherever I went, I always checked what night the student night was on. And if it was after a Wednesday, I was fucked. But Monday, Tuesday, I showed a lot of interest in getting out. But Thursdays, I couldn't have done it like.
I only did it for 6 months. The first 6 months, that's what I'm saying, were like crazy. So
were you still playing well.
Yeah, I was playing all. Yeah, well, I could just about
Function.
recover. Yeah,
It was
But
touch and go.
I know.
If it had been a 2 o'clock kick-off, you might have been struggling.
When I moved out and moved into my house, then obviously I had to knock it on the head. But I just for those 6 months, I just went hell for leather.
Are you out with any of the other lads?
Yeah, fucking hell, it was class. Yeah, 2 right, all of them, apart from Neil Redfern, because Reddo was a proper professional.
Yeah.
But yeah, all the lads right. It was carnage.
Who's the main instigator in that?
Well, it's probably the 2. Well, there was 3 of us really. There was Daniel Graham, who came from Man United, Lee Butler, and Brendan O'Connell. But Butts didn't really go out into town. He didn't go out as your man calls it. But Brendan and Daniel Graham, we were out in town. For one of the funny stories, when Hedonism got built and they built this new fancy VIP lounge,
Right.
but built this glass fronted VIP lounge. So we, even in away games, we used to wear a tracksuit to away games, but we'd go out in our tracksuits on a Saturday night. Wouldn't give a fuck. So we'd rock up at Hedonism straight into the VIP lounge, get a few beers, and I swear to God, barring, I'd say in a 12-month period, barring say 3 or 4 weeks while he was on holiday, the assistant chairman, the vice chairman, Peter Taylor, was always in there with his wife, and we'd all rocking in our trackies.
Nothing said.
After the first 2 times, you say, "Oh fucking hell, he's in there. Fucking Taylor's in there." and at that time, because I was a captain, I say, "Oh fuck it. If he says anything, I'll have a word with him." But I think the first time we met him, we'd actually won. So we're saying, "Oh fuck it, we've won today." So we were in. Second time with him, I think we lost. And that's when I said, "Oh fuck, if he says anything, I'll go and have a word with him." And then after that there, he just didn't give a fuck. he knew what was coming. We were going to be in there.
Another round of slippery nipples, Gerry. Yeah, get him over here.
I swear, after the first 2 times where we're like, well, shall we, shan't we? He just didn't give a fuck, because he knew what was coming. We were in there, like it or not,
Butts is still at it, by the way.
Sorry?
Butts is still...
Oh, I bet
he gets to, I saw him in Magaluf in the summer. Every year, same weekend in May. He goes to Magaluf with the keepers that he's... Like Neil Sullivan goes.
Oh, brilliant.
He's got his own notebook, rules and all that.
Yeah.
Brilliant, man.
Some of the pranks he used to pull off were absolutely comical. I mean, just top quality comedy, basically.
This is when I first started going to watch Barnsley. This. I remember Brendan O'Connell, a little bit like Sav, just used to run around like a headless chicken.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah, that's what we used to, headless chicken. Yeah, that was it, Brendan.
So yes, this is where I'm first starting being a Barnsley supporter.
Shez with you as well at that
Shez came a couple of years later, but but Shez was always under pressure to get home to Manchester. Shez ended up living with me while he was staying in Barnsley. Worst fucking mistake of my life. Letting Shez live with me. I loved him to bits, don't get me wrong, but I mean, he used to eat a loaf of bread for his tea. He cost me a fucking fortune. He never paid his rent, right? And bearing in mind back then, interest rates were 15.5%, right? So, and Barnsley were paying me about 450 fucking quid a week, right? And so you imagine how much
you're spending 380.
Yeah, exactly. And then and then he wants a fucking loaf of bread every night. I've never seen a midget eat so much. I have to be honest with you. But I swear, he was funny, Shez, because from an early age he was going bald, right? He was thinning on top, even in his 20s, and he used to spit at least 15-20 minutes after training every day with a big thick airbrush and a hairdryer, trying to thicken his hair up. And the last just used to sit there and piss himself because I'd never seen it before in a dressing room.
What, hairdryer?
Hairdryer. Never in my life have I ever seen a bloke using a hairdryer.
That must have been the first time that hairdryer went on.
He was the first.
What?
There's one man round this table who uses an hairdryer, and obviously it's not you, and it's not me or Tags.
Yeah. It's all right now. It's acceptable now, isn't it? But
I still don't think it is me.
Well, exactly.
No.
But back in the day, I've never ever seen any footballer use a hairdryer, and he was the first one ever. And the thing was, he'd no fucking hair.
So I think that's the key point.
Yeah. So
he hasn't got any
now,
hair.
when you think about it, obviously he's trying to make the best of what he's got. But at the time, you don't say that. You just think, what the fuck's he doing? Why is he using that? He's got no fucking hair. He can't do anything with it anyway. He's just blowing it. It's just, and then it's going back to where it was. It's just blowing. But funny.
So did Shez get on board with the night out and that then?
Yeah, when he did, yeah, absolutely. You know, Shez was a great player for Barnsley as well. You know, coming from non-league, and you know, he fully immersed himself in
the Barnsley culture.
The Barnsley culture at that time. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah,
Someone mentioned on Twitter about. Did you have a fallout with him in a snooker hall?
Yeah, well, he was living with me at the time. Yeah, and we'd gone out for a couple of, you know, tea time sherbets down to in Penistone.
He'd not fucking paid his rent.
Yeah, in Penistone, and we'd had an argument about rent. I think it was about the rent actually, and so anyway. It gets to about, I don't know, 7, 8 o'clock, whatever. And we goes back to the house and I'm making the dinner and what have you, and it's carrying on. So by the time it's time to go to bed, we're at each other. Like, and he's threatening to take me on. I'm like, what? Fuck you, I'll fucking crush you. Like all this here. And he's pointing his, he pokes his finger.
Fair play to him, like.
Yeah, no, absolutely. And so I said to him, I tell you what, I says, you can fuck off, you're not staying in here tonight. I said, I'll tell you what you can do, you can go and sleep in the garage. There's a big chest freezer on there. You can go and fucking sleep on top of that. So he turned around and he said, right, I will. So he fucked off, I shut the door, locked it, and he went and jumped in the garage and slept on top of the chest freezer, right? So I fucked off the bed.
It was still like a king-size bed for him, weren't it?
Yeah. So I get this knock on the door about 3 a.m, and he's banging on the door. So I've gone downstairs. You know, like that talk you have, you know, if you don't know who's behind the door. So I'm behind the front door. I'm going, what do you want? He said, let me in. I says, why? He says, you're not going to cause any fucking trouble, are you? I says, no, just let me in. I says, any fucking trouble, says, I'm calling the police. He says, right, open the door. And he stood there, fucking shivering away like that. So he could fucking have to throw me.
He not slept in the freezer, had he?
So I just grabbed him. I says, get in, you stupid little twat, and get to bed. And then that was the end of it. You know, we were back to square one again, best mates. But yeah, we did have a minor fall in it.
Did Viv Anderson take over for a while as manager? I was player manager.
Player manager, yeah. Him and Danny. Danny came in as player coach. Viv came in as player manager. And I play golf on occasion with John Dennis, the old chairman, on a Friday. And he tells a great story that when the Perlin went for the interview for the job, obviously Danny for player coach, Viv for player manager. Spinksy turned around and told John Dennis he got the wrong one. He should have made Danny the manager and not Viv. And he was telling me that story over a game of golf a few months ago. And I think he told the story in that movie.
Believers, yeah.
Yeah, that movie that he said he'd made the wrong decision, and it was pretty evident after, you know, a few months that he probably had made the wrong decision. Taking nothing away from Viv as a guy. But I think as management, I tell you one of the funniest. It wasn't funny, but when you look back now, it's quite comical. We're playing at Luton, and I get straight red after 5 minutes. Straight red. Take this guy out in the half-fire line from Luton. I think it was a full-back or midfield, can't remember. Anyway, fucking boom, he's up in the air, bang, Taggart off. Fucking hell, 3-match ban. But in them days, you had to wait 2 weeks until they did all the paperwork. You know, like now, you get a red card, that's you done.
Instant, innit?
So, in them days, it was you could still play for 2 weeks or whatever it was. So we're playing Peterborough Tuesday night away at Peterborough. 2 yellow cards. So, but before that, Viv had been sent off. So Viv's playing in this game. He gets sent off. So we're down to 10 men. 15 minutes later, I get a second yellow. Taggart off again, two games running. So I'm walking into the dressing room, and Viv, all I can say is Viv's just sat there with his head in his hands, you know, probably talking to himself, thinking, fucking hell, what's going on here, you know, down to 10 men, whatever, and what am I doing, getting sent off? And all he hears is the door open and me walking through, and he just looks up, and he looks at me and went, oh, fucking hell. And then just puts his fucking head back and he goes like that there. And obviously I'm tiptoeing around the fucking dressing room, you know, thinking, fucking hell. You know. But yeah, it was one of them scenarios, those situations you didn't really want to be in at that time, but looking back, it was quite funny.
The thing is, I bet you were half delighted, really, because if he hadn't been sent off and you getting sent off twice in 2 games, he could have come down on you, couldn't he? But what can you say?
Yeah,
well,
If he's been given an early bath as well.
Well, I got a 7-match ban and 2 weeks' wages.
Jesus.
At that time. So the FA gave me a 7-match ban.
For a straight red and 2 yellows?
Yeah, in 2 games.
You were chasing him for rent that week.
Yeah, fucking hell. I was chasing everybody. Hey, imagine the fucking fun I had though.
Took to Sunday and all then, fuck it.
You get your first Northern Ireland cap in that period as well.
Yeah, well, as soon as I joined, I got 1990 at the back end of the season. Yeah, I got my first call up. So I was 19 at the time, 1990, and I got my first call up. So that was unbelievable. That was like, and then fucking hell, used to be a standing joke back then. So we'd meet up on a Sunday at like 6-7 o'clock for 6 o'clock. For dinner was at 7 or something like that, or the other way around. And then all the lads would go out for a couple of pints. So Chimney Corner Hotel, on the road to the international airport, just outside Belfast. And it was not really remote, but quite remote, this hotel. And there's just a little pub about a 10-minute walk down the road, and that was it. So all the lads would pile in there after dinner for a few pints on a Sunday night. Game was always on a Wednesday.
Yeah.
So I bulls up, you know, and so I'm obviously the youngest one there, and saying, well, where is everybody? And she says, oh, they all go down the pub. So I go, all right, then I'll go down the pub. So what's down
I'll
the pub?
introduce myself.
Fucking last one out, Anna. Fucking last one out of the pub. And then the next trip, so that was a home game. I made my debut against Norway in Belfast. And then the game after that is like it's the qualifiers for the Euro 92 qualifiers. I think the first game away was Denmark. So we had to meet at Heathrow Airport on a Sunday night. Again, the games were we only played one game a month, and it was always on a Wednesday, which everyone loved. You know what I mean? It was great. So we meet up at Heathrow Airport. I mean, this time, my feet are under the table. I had a good debut. You know what I mean? But so I'm getting good reviews in the papers. The papers are liking what I'm doing. So my fucking feet are. I'm there. I'm under the table. Fucking in. Pulls up at Heathrow Airport, and they've got all the lads going Sunday night, have a bit of dinner, meet up for dinner, bang, into this pub just that adjoins the hotel, the Trust House 40 hotel there, just off the M4. The one it used to be called the Trust House 40. It's not called that now. So we're in there, straight in the pub. So I've gone in the pub and I'm looking around. I can't see anything I like. And I says, say to the barman, fuck it, just give us a pint of that strong lager. And it was at Kronenberg 1664. So that fucking joke, so that stuck.
That's
every trip then from then on in, here we go, fucking Mr. Strong Lager here sort of thing. But yeah, they were great times. No trips in Northern Ireland, great bunch of lads. No airs and graces, you know, you hear about the cliques with all England stuff but the Irish lads, I think both our Irish teams, you know, the camaraderie was unbelievable, you know. I could tell some stories about that, but that again.
It's all over a drink, innit?
Yeah, you know, exactly.
Excuse me, like a research, but did you play in when you beat England?
No, I'd retired by then. Yeah, David Healy that was the problem. We skipped the generation. We were probably the best up until now, but even now the players we had were probably better than the team now that reached the Euros, if you're looking through. But what we didn't have was a Dave Healy. That's what was missing. We had fucking Ian Dowie. You know what I mean? Hello, give Downer his dues. He did a job, but we needed that little bit of magic in the box. You know, with Keith Gillespie, Michael Hughes, Lennon, Magilton, you know, Lomas, midfield. Keeper was all. If Tommy Wright didn't play on that, we had a bit of an issue. But everywhere else around the pitch, we were solid. You know what I mean? Just up front, just that edge, that goal scoring edge. We just didn't have it when you need it.
Gillespie, What was he? I bet he was a vital cog in the...
Yeah, listen, Keith, we always used to say...
The
Keith,
boozing network.
Yeah.
as long as you didn't give Keith a pint, you know, he'd be a good lad. But once he got a drink down, anything could have happened. You know what I mean? And I mean anything, you know. But, you know, what a player, what a talent he was, Keith Gillespie.
Goals against Spain and Germany were it as well?
Who, me?
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. I keep replaying that one against the Germans.
Yeah.
Well,
The Germans.
yeah. But the thing was about that was I'd fallen out of favour with the manager, Brian Hamilton, at the time. So I'd been out of the squad for 18 months. So that was my first game back.
Was that through personal?
Yeah,
like,
personal.
Did you have a proper,
Yeah. He was
just didn't get on.
Yeah, basically, that's putting it.
Right, yeah.
So anyway, he's called me back in the squad, and we're playing Germany away. Again, it's for the Euros. Was it the Euros? No, I think it was the 98 World Cup qualifying campaign. And so it's my first game back in 18 months. Nuremberg, quality, because I have them mixed saunas over there, don't they? Fucking great.
I didn't know what you were going to say.
I thought you were going to come into the facilities.
Mixed saunas weren't what I thought were going to be coming out.
Mate, you've never seen fucking 16 lads
Crammed in.
into a fucking little sauna so quickly. I'm telling you. Mixed saunas. That was my first ever introduction to one of them. Nuremberg, 1996. Brilliant, absolutely brilliant. So anyway, played a game, and we've got a free kick. I think we've got a free kick, something like that there, and they've tried it clear. It goes out to the right. Steve Loomis picks it up, does brilliant, gets the ball in, and so unlike the Germans, this German defender comes across to clear it, misclears it to the edge of the box, and I was like fucking Harvey Barnes, you know that strike against Sheffield United.
On the volley?
Oh, well, not on the half volley.
So was that?
I fucking swooped down on the ball, half volley, bang, straight in the bottom corner. I'm like, fucking hell. So it's on YouTube, but what I'm actually doing, I'm running towards Brian Hamilton after I scored, as if to say, fuck you.
Yeah.
That's for leaving me out. Do you know what I mean? But I didn't get that far because everyone fucking jumped on me. So I was taking the lead against the Germans on their own patch. It lasted all of fucking 5 minutes or something like that there, but we managed to scramble a 1-1, which was like obviously a great result at the time.
A few strong ales afterwards, I imagine.
Well, yeah, and I think everybody
in the fucking sauna.
Yeah, I think everyone went back to the mixed sauna.
We'll just take a carry out to the sauna there. Drinking fucking warm lager, but fuck it.
Just get a drink.
Aye. So one of the big things for me, Barnsley, were the Christmas do's. You must have had some good ones at Barnsley.
Yeah, well, as you probably most people know, that back in the day, the Christmas do's were legendary. You have to say.
You're getting excited from the start of November, aren't you?
Yeah. Well, listen, and it was compulsory fancy dress as well. So
and you're captain, so you lead in destination.
Well, when I first joined, Steve Agnew was the captain.
Right.
So he used to organise it all. But after Aggie left, I took over the captaincy. So then it was obviously down to me. So not only are you captain, but you're entertainments manager. So I used to organise.
A vital role in a football club, man.
End of season, trips away, with all the lads. So what I used to do was open a bank account and get all the lads to pay a tenner a weekend, because you used to get paid weekly then.
Yeah.
So all the lads would pay a tenner a week into this bank account, and then that would be enough money to take you away at the end of the season. So I literally did everything, tickets, dues, holidays, the lot. I had to sort everything out back then. But the Christmas dues, I think Jim Dubbin, he helped organise it with Aggie, as far as a couple of certain ladies of the night were called, or the afternoon as it used to be then. But
you got a couple of strippers in.
Yeah, so obviously it was compulsory, wasn't it, getting the strippers in? But now I actually missed this, so I actually missed out because I joined in January. It was a full 11 months, stroke 12 months before I partake in a Christmas do. So I actually missed out on what used to happen. What used to happen at the Christmas do's was you got all the first year pros, so they didn't have a clue what was coming, because we'd make sure no one knew about, and would invariably would have a theme, or you'd have the young pros would have to have a themed fancy dress. But so we'll go and have a chat with the girls in the pub. We used to go to Bentley's down the bottom of the Old Mill Lane. It's Top Styles now or something like that there. Go and have a chat with them, pay them the money, negotiate the money, pay them that, and then we'd have a DJ on as well, and then we'd get the party started.
It's like a private party.
Private party, just
private room.
Just players,
Yeah.
girls, and obviously the landlord, and maybe a couple of staff, I don't know. But anyway, so young lads didn't have a clue what was going on, but when we were having a chat with the girls, like, you have to embarrass them to hell. I mean, you literally, you know, flip the coin on its head. It's not a bloke, you know, being, you know,
aroused.
Yeah, seedy to you.
Yeah.
You are going to literally, you know, de-man these young lads in front of all us lot. Okay? So, I'm fair play to these two girls. They were
They were
They're good at what they did. They're good at what they did.
They were top drawer, absolutely brilliant at their job. Hence why they kept getting come back year after year.
Recalls.
Well, there was this one year, so as usual, it was fancy dress. And this one year, it was me, Brendan O'Connell and Lee Butler, we used to live very near each other up Penistone, Oxspring way. And I used to be their taxi driver because both of them had been done for drink driving, and I was the only one that hadn't, funnily enough. So I used to ferry them around. So on a trip into training one day, I says, what about going to the emergency services? He says, aye, all right. So Butts gets dressed up as a policeman. I'm a doctor, Brendan's a fireman. So Phil Elrington, who used to run the old social club, it used to be on the side of the old main stand that's still there. There used to be a social club there. We used to go in there after training Christmas Day, have a few pints, and then Phil would run us all down to Bentley's and park on the opposite side of the road. So the usual bit happens, gets down there, opposite side of the road, the Bentley's. We all pile out of the bus. Butts is first because he's in the front seat, probably having a fucking pint of what he used to call Lucozade, which was really cider. That's why every Friday he would go in after training on a Friday and ask for a pint of Lucozade, and Phil didn't know whether he was proper Lucozade or Lucozade. You know what I mean? What do you think, Phil? Because he always liked a couple of pints on a Friday. But anyway, I'm digressing. Anyway, so Butts jumps out. He's in the policeman's uniform, and he starts strolling across the road. And as he's walking across the road, there's a car coming down the hill, and it's got this old deer in it. And I swear to you, he stops out in the middle of the road, hand up flat like that. Car slams on its brakes, thinking it's a real copper. But unbeknown, there's this young bird in the car behind, slams into the back of this old deer. And fucking hell, you want to see... Like, don't get me wrong, it wasn't a bad crash, but you can imagine the screech of the brakes and then the crack. So then everyone just starts fucking sprinting towards Bentley's, leaving the scene of a fucking accident.
Copper running off.
Right? Yeah. And Butts is out, the copper's fucked off. He should be the one that's going up to help. So anyway, so everyone's sprinting across the road, and I'm the captain, so I've had to go. So obviously I've got
your ambulance. You should be sorting her out. She got whiplash, the poor lass.
I'm the doctor, so I've got all the stethoscope and everything round my neck, haven't I? So fucking, I'm going to have to go and sort this out. And as I'm walking up, those exact things came to my mind. I thought, aye. I'll have a little bit of fun with this. So anyway, I make sure that both of them are all right, both ladies are all right, and they are all right. And so, and as I'm doing, I said, you sure you don't want me to give you the once over to the young girl, of course. Yeah, I've got my stethoscope here. Just to make sure, only messing about, but I'll drop it in anyway. So anyway, gets all the phone numbers, registration numbers, say to them, don't worry, you don't need to call the police because we've got one in there, even though he's left the scene.
He's having a bite of Lucas.
Sorts all the insurance and everything else, make sure they're all right. Ask them did they want an ambulance, everything else being a bit serious for a minute. And they're fine, and they all drive off. So I'm walking back down towards Bentley's, and I walks in, and obviously everybody's getting in the party mood, everyone's there. And I go to the side of the bar to get a pint, I see Butts is in the fucking back of the pub, and he's in his boxer shorts. He's taking all his fucking clubber out. He's, you know...
And the evidence.
Talk about a shit house. You know what I mean? You know, come out and face it at least. But he's in his boxer shorts and a pair of fucking DM boots or something he had on. Jesus Christ almighty. But, yeah, they were legendary, absolutely legendary, the Christmas parties.
So there was never any comeback from it, you know?
Oh, well, obviously we sorted out the insurance and that, and any repairs that were, and I think, you know, there was a bunch of flowers, stuff like that, that were sent to make sure everything was smooth. Though, in fact, if any of those ladies are listening and want to get back, and they could probably be able to shed a bit more light on it.
Dr. Taggart saved the day. So you went on to Bolton. Was it newly promoted Bolton then? Was it first spell in the Premier League?
Yeah. That's right.
And with Barnsley in Championship then, so that was your first step into the Premier League as well?
Yeah, that's right. And again, I was meant to be going to 2 or 3 different places at the end of that season, but I ended up at Barnsley. I think Danny Wilson was the manager then. I was on holiday and he kept phoning me up saying, "Do you want to go here? Do you want to go there?" And obviously, I think Villa was the main one at the time. Yeah. But for some reason, it didn't come off. I think where Man City were very clever when they sold me to Barnsley was they had this massive sell-on clause, like 50% at least. But I've heard varying reports that it was more than that. But I think that was part of the...
It's a record transfer fee for Bolton as well.
Yeah, that's right. First ever £1 million signing, which is not saying much really. But
at the time.
Thing is, back then.
That's big money, isn't it?
Yeah, but I think the stumbling block for other clubs, they wanted more money, Barnsley, but teams weren't willing to pay because obviously they had to give Man City at least half of it, and in some reports I've heard it was probably more. Yeah. So yeah, ended up I'd been there 6 years, 5.5 years at Barnsley, and at the time I couldn't see us progressing to where I wanted to go to. Yeah. But how wrong was I? But anyway, again, that's another story. But at the time, it was the right move for me to go and play. I was at the top of my game.
Premier League comes a calling.
Yeah. But yeah, I say I love my time at Bolton. Great little club. Similar type of club to Barnsley, really. Slightly bigger, but only slightly.
Bigger, yeah, I'd say bigger.
But great fan base. Great town, you know, and the lads again were a great bunch of lads, and so, you know, it's just sort of carried on from Barnsley to Bolton. Where, you know, on a Saturday night all the lads would be out, and you know, obviously that first year wasn't great. We didn't get many points. I think I only played 16 times. I was injured a lot. Yeah. That first season.
Yeah, because was it the lowest points or something at the time?
Something, yeah, at the time, yeah. Thankfully, Derby beat that.
So you had that record at one point.
We beat it first.
Sunderland. Yeah.
16, I think we got.
So I didn't play that much. So it was a bit of a disappointing season for me. And so come back next season, and obviously that was a season. Bolton plus Barnsley went up to the Premier League. That was weird. That was a strange feeling.
Because Bolton went from the lowest ever points in the Premier League to the highest ever points in the Championship to get promoted, didn't he? Like, completely turned it around.
He's got his research good on Bolton, hasn't he? Fuck me, everything else he gets wrong, but when it comes to fucking Bolton, he's all over it like a rash, isn't he?
Who signed you then for Bolton? Because would it have not been that transition period with Bruce Rioch?
Yeah, that was it. I think it was Bruce Rioch initially, but then he went to
Arsenal.
He went to Arsenal, and Colin Todd stroke... oh God, I'm going to get battered here.
Oh, I can't remember.
His old Derby centre half partner.
McFarlane, was it? No.
He played centre half with him. Yeah. Roy McFarlane.
Yeah, was it McFarlane? Yeah.
Roy McFarlane. They became joint managers, and it just didn't work. So anyway,
Phil Brownie.
No, Brownie wasn't there then. What happened was Brownie came in at the beginning of the next season when we were in the Championship. But Roy McFarlane stayed at Christmas. Then after Christmas, they brought the Sunderland legend in. Go on, name him. Scored the goal in the cup final.
Porterfield.
Ian Porterfield came in.
As manager?
No, as assistant manager coach. Right. He came in until the end of that season. But again, it just didn't work. Then he left. So then Colin Todd just sort of took it on, brought Phil Brown in, brought a couple of players in from Denmark, Per Franson and Michael Johansson, and Nathan Blake, who were brought in when we were in the Premier League, sort of struggled the same as I did in that first year with injuries and loss of form. But then in the second year, it all sort of came together. We only lost 4 games all season, and obviously with McGinley and Blake, and you had Johansson on one side and Scott Sellers on the other.
Both rapid.
We had Per Franson midfield alongside Alan Thompson. We were frightening, to be fair.
How did the Danish lads integrate into the...
Oh, brilliant. Absolutely brilliant. From day one, like Michael Johansson, he's only a little tiny guy, ginger hair, but he'd a lot to say for himself. Funny little guy,
Did he have an identical twin brother?
Yeah, that's right. He did. That's right. But no, the pair of them just fitted in seamlessly, to be fair. And two very good players as well, Per especially.
That'd be handy, wouldn't it? Like if you're out on a Saturday night and you get into some night with my brother. Not doing me. No, I was home in bed.
With Sasa Serchik there as well.
Well,
spoke about him.
Well, after we went back up to the Premier League, that was funniest thing ever with Sasa. He obviously come from Belgrade. I think it was Partizan Belgrade they signed him from. And he'd come in and he looked like a fucking tramp we just dragged in off the street, Sasha. Within 2 weeks he had a Ferrari. He's running around in rainbow fucking Versace tops, which looked just as bad as the gear he fucking arrived in, but obviously cost a lot more money. He literally he'd done his whole fucking first month's money on a Ferrari and a fucking load of shit gear. It was just funny that the transformation within a small space of time. And he lit the place up for us for a while. But
he was class.
Yeah, he lit the place up, and he was he got us a few goals, vital goals.
Because Shipley talked about him when he obviously went to Palace later on, just being a bit eccentric.
Yeah, he was. He left us and went to Villa, Sasha, for like £4 million. Yeah. Him and Alan Thompson went to Villa around about the same time after we went down. But he lit the place up for us. He was an exciting player to watch, no shot of it out. But then obviously when he moved on, and people talk about his off the field antics more than his on the field antics. So, but when he was at Bolton, he was an asset for the club. There was no doubt about it.
Yeah. John McGinley there as well, like you said, he was.
Yeah, McGinn, the Lord Mayor, as I call him, the Lord Mayor of Bolton. John, it was like the Teflon Don. Nothing would ever stick with John. Do you know what I mean? He was brilliant. And he had Owen Coyle was his designated driver. So Owen Coyle didn't drink, but Coyle would go out on a Saturday night with John and just drive him around and drive him home everywhere.
That's a good relationship.
Yeah, it's a handy one, that, isn't it?
Yeah. So yeah, he was like, I don't know, he was like the Donald Trump of Bolton.
Did you would have scored the first goal as well?
For me, he hasn't messed about today, has he?
Yeah.
And VAR, you'd have been on the record books.
Well, it's funny you say it because of that goal. I know they brought out what do you call it in tennis? Hawkeye. Yeah. And then they brought out in cricket, but there was a couple of Bolton fans because of what happened and what mainly happened at the end of the season with Leicester being relegated on goal difference to Everton.
Yeah, because Bolton got relegated on goal difference,
right?
And
Everton, and I scored the goal that wasn't given against Everton.
And
right.
that
wasn't.
Well, it wasn't given because there was obviously no goal line technology. So these fans took it upon themselves, and I was actually assistant manager at Oldham at the time when they were testing goal line technology. So these two guys were the first ones to come up, and they're only Bolton fans. The first ones to come up with the idea
because of that goal
to getting goal line technology into football. Obviously, they got down to the last three, didn't win it, but they were the ones that came up with the idea of goal line technology because of that goal that wasn't given.
And then obviously they stayed up. Had it been given,
and Everton would have gone.
Yeah, and Everton would have went down.
Okay, hell.
We'd have beat them 1-0.
Jesus. It's a lot of money and all at stake, isn't there?
Well, absolutely.
A lot of money at stake, individually and as a club and everything.
What was it? Just somebody cleared off the line and
It was a
crossbar,
gone the line, and then it's got hurt.
another volley. Half volley.
Well, no, it was. I'll tell you what happened. It was a corner come in. Me and Craig Short's going for the header. I've just about got something on it. It's going towards goal, but Neville Southall could have picked it out there, no problem. But Nathan Blake, fair play to him, went up with Neville and put him off, and the ref's not give a free kick, and the ball's sort of bundled itself over the line, and then they've cleared it. But it's like clearly over the line by a good couple of feet, and the line knows not give it.
Yeah.
Jesus.
So it was a clear error, and then so that game ended up 0-0 that night. It was the first home game because we had to play 3 away games because the stadium wasn't ready.
Yeah. A few on Twitter. Is it the Battle of Burnden?
Yeah.
Not the Bolton massacre. As you
The what?
The Battle of Burnden.
Yeah.
Against
Wolves. Yeah, my God.
Your eyes lit up then.
That was quality.
30-man brawl.
That was quality.
30?
Apparently.
Oh, man, it was. There's another. This is another. I'm not going to call it a claim to fame, but they changed the ruling after that. So literally, something happened on the halfway line between two of the players. I don't know who. Next thing, there's people being laid out on the ground properly. It's not handbags. It's full on
knuckle dusters.
We were involved at this point.
Have you got him windmilling?
But bang, and the best one I've seen was Chris Fairclough, Sparks, Steve Bull, bang, clean out. Steve Bull's laying like that on the floor.
Snoring.
Sparkle. Absolute class. I'm trying to hold 3. I've got Neil Emblin, Keith Curl, and then somebody else comes in from the side. So I've got Neil Emblin by one hand, Keith Curl by the other, and then somebody else, so I've fucking thrown there and I've gone. So I'm all over the show.
Were you trying to defuse it?
No, I'm getting the ball.
ready?
Oh, I've run 40 yards to get the ball.
Fastest he's moved all season.
I've run from centre half to the middle of the pitch to get involved in it all. But I've got people around, so I'm grabbing people and other people coming in. And then I've looked round and seen Chris Fairclough, Sparko, Steve Bull. It was brilliant. But then the rules changed around that because at that time there was like a standard fine for not being in control of your team, and then because of all the TV cameras being introduced with Sky,
will that standard fine just not enough for how fucking bad the situation was?
So Bolton got a standard fine and been warned about blah 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 blah, but Chris Fairclough never got a ban. And you can clearly see it on the video. I never got a ban. None of the Wolves players got any bans.
Did you get headbutted?
No.
There's an article out there that says Bull headbutted you.
Oh, is there? It might have done, I don't know, but I didn't feel it.
That's probably why he got sparked.
Like a scene from Rambo.
The best thing is, it said you had blood gushing out your head and all kinds, and it said Taggart was mentioned. Was interviewed.
Who's Taggart?
Taggart was interviewed after the game, and all he said was, "It's all part of the game."
I might have done it. It was a good chance. As I say, it was just.
How can you not remember?
Because there was so much going on, Brian. I promise you, there was. That's what I'm saying. It was proper. It was a proper brawl. It wasn't like people pushing. There was people proper punching and headbutting, whatever. I just can't remember. It's only headbutt, isn't it?
Classic.
I'll have to watch this video.
Is it on YouTube? That?
So I don't know, but obviously there's a few people should have got sent off that day for what happened, and they didn't, and that's when the rules changed.
There's a few should have gone to fucking prison, but it sounds
look at the video, and then retrospectively ban people, and that was another catalyst. I've got another one as well, but I'll tell you that later if I've got it later.
What was it like afterwards? After that, then the dressing room and down the tunnel, I imagine.
Well, that was a massive game at the time. We were in first. I think they were second or third. Wolves.
Yeah. So
there was a lot of hype surrounding that game. There was a lot of stuff said in the press. I think especially by Wolves at the time. So we were like probably going out there to turn these over. We won the game. I think it was 2-1 or something like that there, and then we won the game.
Is this the 97 year?
Yeah.
When Barnsley went up, so it's Mark McGee's the
Yeah,
Wolves manager.
that's it. So there was a lot of hype surrounding the game because we were going toe to toe, and it was where the game was in the season. It was an important game for both teams. You know what I mean? So we won the game. So you can imagine the dressing room was buzzing. Everyone's high fiving Chris Fairclough. Nobody offered him out after that. I can assure you. Proper.
Well, the manager fucking well done, lads.
Yeah.
Well stuck together.
Well, like Colin Todd, he was although not the tallest, he could handle himself as well.
So what Andy there then?
Yeah, Andy was there as well. Yeah,
he can handle himself.
Oh, absolutely.
I had him as assistant manager at Newport, and his eyes.
Yeah,
he just had this stare, didn't he? Where his eyes just were like, fuck me, you can't mess with this guy.
Yeah. I remember the on-field punch up he had with Stan Collymore.
Yeah, well, I played that day.
Oh my word!
So we're playing Villa, I think it was. Yeah, Villa. Or was it Liverpool? I can't remember. One of them. I think it was Villa. And Collymore's had a pop at Toddy. And Toddy's sort of like Andy told us, he's taking a step back as if to go, what? What have you just done? And then the next thing you've seen there's a volley of punches going in the stand.
1-2. Meet K&O.
8-10 punches. Boom, 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 boom.
Were you fucking Bolton Boxing Club or what?
Stan Collymore, bingo, out on the floor yet again. Laid flat on the floor. Toddy's hit him with about 10 punches with no reply. Collymore's out flat on
6 month ban now, that, isn't it?
How did we not know about it? I didn't have a clue that even happened.
Oh, crap. Telling you.
I've had a search. There's no documentation or footage of that in existence. I think Toddy's burned it all.
Were you? I'm not sure when it was, but with Phil Brown. Was Phil Brown a player then or manager?
He was assistant manager when I was.
He was a snake, weren't he? Apparently. Well, he's a snake.
And obviously his dad, Andy Todd's dad, was the manager.
Yes. That's right.
Did he not snake
No,
him out?
I wasn't there then. Todd. So I'd left to go to Leicester by then when that all came out about. So from what you hear, Brownie was trying to get Big Sam in, but I wasn't there then, so I didn't hear about that.
What did he follow him in the
So
toilet?
the story is, he obviously Phil Brown snaked Colin Todd out, and then he's at Derby. Did he go to Derby? Was it?
Yeah.
Phil Brown went to Derby, and Andy Todd has followed him into the toilets and fucking just filled him in.
Yeah.
That's why I like Toddy. Toddy's he's up there, one of my favourite ever people.
Yeah.
But I think he proper filled him in weird to the point of like,
Yeah,
oh
he
dear.
did.
Oh dear.
He did, but yeah, that was an eye opener, and that's another one you're going. I'm not messing with Todd. I need to get him in a headlock ASAP, and then hang on. But yeah, first start. That was the first and not the last time I seen Stan get sparkle. Bless him. But there you go.
Doesn't he bring it on himself? I don't think he's well liked, is he?
Well, yeah, he decent. He obviously came to Leicester from Villa, and O'Neill had him brilliant, had him on toast, you know what I mean, had him playing well, scored a hat-trick on his debut against Sunderland. But there was always that edge with Stan, I don't know what it was.
In what way? You just didn't know how to take him? You didn't know how he'd react to stuff?
No, for most of the time he was great, but obviously he's publicised his struggles with anxiety and depression and stuff. I don't know whether or not that played a part, why people just didn't take them, or, But on his day, I mean, ability-wise,
I was a player, yeah.
Oh my God! I mean, right up there. But it was about getting Stan on his day. But O'Neill had him there. You know what I mean? O'Neill had him there, but unfortunately, Peter Taylor couldn't keep him there.
He had a bad injury now, didn't he?
Yeah.
I remember that. Remember it?
But say he was fine with me, Stan. And sometimes you can only take how you find people, how they are with you. But he's fine. But you always knew there was something.
Else going off in his head.
Underneath, just waiting to come up.
What was the other one when he got a 10 count?
Well, that was with Trevor Benjamin. They were playing in a reserve match at Filbert Street.
Trevor Benjamin on the same team?
Yeah, so Benji was signed. Peter Taylor signed Trevor Benjamin for some reason. And, but you say that
He signed some bad
Benji,
players, didn't he? Because he
again,
signed Akin Bayer, didn't he?
Well, and none of them could see. None of them could read. You know the eye test you do? None of them could read. They could read the top 2 lines of the eye test, and that was it. So, and Adi Akinbaye couldn't see under floodlights until the ball was a couple of yards away.
Oh, Jesus.
Because he got some stick, didn't he, Akinbaye?
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah,
There were records, £5.5 million quid, I think,
yeah,
Peter
and
Till.
he just became a bit of a laughing stock, really. I mean, thankfully,
Again, another one you wouldn't mess
social
with,
media.
Adi. Jesus
Oh,
Christ.
yeah.
yeah,
The
it's
goal.
a unit.
But
wasn't
I
it?
tell you, great lad. The Perlin were great lads, but it just didn't happen for them at Leicester. So anyway, they're playing a reserve match, and obviously Stan's a fucking quality player, and he's having to play a reserve game, and he's playing it with Benji, and he's giving Benji a bit of stick because Benji can't control the ball or whatever.
Well, he's a unit, isn't he? For people that don't know.
Yeah.
Unit.
So come in at half time, and so Stan's like pointing a finger at him, like giving him dog's abuse. So Benji just stands up and goes bang, Stan, ping, sparkle on the floor yet again. You know what I mean?
He's got a weak chin, Stan, hasn't he?
I used to work on that.
But yeah,
Yeah, I can remember when we played Leicester when I was at Hull. So we pulled up on the coach, and some fans had made a banner saying, I can't remember what the top line were. Oh, can't believe you signed him. Adi a bad buy.
Dear.
And Peter Taylor's getting off the bus, and there's this big fucking banner saying Adi a bad buy.
yeah,
£5.5 million quid he paid for him.
Yeah. I remember when he did score and he whipped his top off, didn't he?
yeah.
Oh, Jesus Christ.
Yeah.
Impressive, weren't it?
Traps.
Oh, yeah. I wish he'd whipped his shorts off as well.
The thing is, with Adi though, he'd score the most ridiculous goals, and then, you know, he'd say it's finishing, but then he'd come out with some of the most ridiculous goals ever, and you think, how's he pulled that off? You know, and then
From
from
nowhere.
5 yards
You
out.
couldn't see, he just
Yeah,
kicked it over best.
But yeah, that was.
It all depended on the floodlights.
Thinking about it, the floodlights at Ewood, they are pretty.
Yeah,
Low
yeah,
down.
Oh,
yeah. I
right.
can imagine.
I never
that.
thought of that excuse, actually.
Yeah, I can't. Struggle with the floodlights. Yeah, at Blackburn, you struggle with the floodlights. That's what we're doing. Not that you were dog shy.
So with Bolton, then you obviously went up, went down, went back up,
Yeah.
and then not so many games in that second
Yeah,
period.
yeah, just struggled with
and
my
then
ankles
Leicester. Yeah.
injury. Got in, and when I got in, we invariably did well. I'm not trying, but we the reason why we got the 40 points because we should have really stayed up. You know, it's as simple as that.
Yeah.
But
Because you brought
again-
a lot of big, a lot of
Yeah.
household names like Dean Oldsworth,
yeah, absolutely.
Peter Beardsley.
Yeah, Peter Beardsley. Yeah,
Peter
absolutely.
Beardsley went to Bolton.
Yeah.
You know that?
No.
Did he fucking really?
Bit
From
of
home?
education today.
From Newcastle.
Newcastle, yeah.
Yeah.
Jeez, I didn't know. He must not have done very well because I can't
Well,
remember him.
he didn't do very
He
well,
didn't,
did
but he was great. He was great for all the younger players like myself. You know what I mean? The way he came into training, the way he trained, you know, it was just like bloody hell. You can see why this guy plays for England. You know,
Yeah.
it was just a different level. And that's when he was 36. So he was good for all the other players. He helped all the other players, and so training got raised. The bar at training always got raised. So. As you say, then we bought Mark Fish in from
Mark Fish, Lazio.
Lazio.
Are the American?
No, South Africa.
South African.
Politics now. He's a politician in South Africa. There you go.
Did he have big fuzzy hair?
Yeah.
Yeah. Big, tall, lean guy.
Yeah.
So it would have
Yeah,
been your
from
main defensive partners, Goodney Bergson.
Yeah, Fish. Back then, Chris Fairclough. Yeah.
Just showing off now, aren't you?
Oh, yeah.
It's not, if you want to do a Bolton podcast, you don't have another fucking day or what?
So, he got stabbed not long ago, Goodney Bergson.
Wow.
He's a solicitor
Yeah.
in Iceland.
In Iceland,
And he
yeah.
got,
Stabbings in Iceland.
I know, yeah. Somebody
Jesus.
who
What,
didn't win his
next to
divorce
Next to the
claim.
prawn ring or what?
Didn't win his divorce claim, turned up at office and stuck him.
Really?
Jesus. Any more useful?
No, that's it.
Useless,
So
useless trivia.
Leicester.
Where have you found that at? Where on earth have you found that Goodney Bergson lost a divorce case and got fucking stabbed?
I mean, it's just
It's out there.
Oh, yeah.
Bear in mind, normally
It's called Google.
You can't even remember what club the guests played for.
Yeah, well,
So
yeah.
you're one of the lucky ones, mate.
From the
That's
Bolton
probably what
Bolton.
makes this podcast so successful. That nobody knows what they're fucking talking about.
So Leicester, then it was just a case of, well, Bolton have gone down and you can go back to the Premier.
Yeah, well, I was on and that time my contract had run out, and then obviously the year before Bosman ruling had come in, so you could say I took advantage of So yeah, you know, again there was 2 or 3 clubs that come in for me, but you know, Leicester was the one because I was still living up this way at the time. I didn't, you know, so I was still travelling to Bolton, still living up this way, so it wasn't too far to get from here to Leicester, basically.
So are you down to one night out a week here now? Or?
Well, yeah, Saturday night.
Yeah.
And maybe the odd Sunday, all day.
Did you know? I always want to know. Did you notice a difference in your performance?
Yeah. Well, that's why I ended up having to move, because it just wasn't happening.
But you must have still been doing well if you're getting linked with Villa and Bolton when you were at Barnsley.
Oh no, I'd calmed down by then.
What, at Barnsley you'd calmed
Yeah,
down?
yeah.
Right,
By the time I'd left, I was coming up. That all gone out the window. All the midweek, no drinking on a school night had come into play basically. So yeah, no. So I'd say if that went on, that bit where you say I was going out 3-4 nights a week, that was like for 6-8 months basically, and then I'd still have a couple of nights out, but you know,
at the right time,
sort of thing, as I say. So yeah, so then go to Leicester. Again, you know, you very quickly learn that that's a step up again from Bolton. You know, the quality that we had in the team.
Yeah.
There's a lot of established players there. You're thinking, fucking hell, I've got my work cut out here to try and break in, you know, to the team.
Was that Walsh, Elliott?
Yeah, Walsh was our Elliott. They had well, there was just that chink. They just signed Frank Sinclair from Chelsea as well at the same time they signed me. So and then they had they called him the Clodhopper. The lad from Norwich went to Derby, Man City, centre half. God, what's his name?
Stumped us there.
Yeah.
I've no.
Anyway,
my football knowledge.
Anyway, so he moved on. Thankfully, he moved on. So it was a straight fight between me, Frank, Walshy, and Frank Sinclair. Me, Matt, Walshy, and Frank Sinclair. So
for 3 out of the 4.
For 3 out of the 4, and Frank could obviously play a wing back as well. So if Frank was playing wing back, I knew I'd probably get a game. And again, I was travelling up and down, which didn't help me. That first thing, I suffered from injury with my ankle again. The physios were shit back then, I tell you. They were fucking shit. So, combination of things happened. Me moving down there, Leicester getting a decent physio in who sorted my ankles out. Yeah. And then that next season, I played every game. One player of the season, we won the cup. And then that's when I really established myself in Leicester's team. You know, I played that season before, I played in the cup final.
Did you? Yeah.
That season before. Well, that was only because Frank Sinclair went out on the piss the night before the game. Now, Frank, talk about Frank. He could party, Frank. He could fucking party, mate.
Wait a minute, he went on the piss the night before the cup final.
He went, yeah.
What's he thinking, man?
I know. Well, he didn't go on the night, on the afternoon.
That's all right.
On the afternoon.
Him 60 at least.
Because we had to be in at a certain time for dinner.
What, so he just didn't turn up?
Well, yeah, he turned up late for the meeting.
And that was it,
he'd been out, so he didn't play. So I was on the bench.
Was he half cut as well, or?
I don't know. I never seen him. I just heard. The next thing I know, I'm playing in the cup final.
Nice one, Frankie.
So Frank had sort of
good work, Frank.
Misbehaved slightly, but he could fucking party. Frank, he was the best I've seen, to be honest. Frank, Jesus Christ. But anyway,
Did he had he not the midweeks on the head then, Frank?
No. Every night was a fucking party night for Frank, I think. Yeah, he was good. He was good. But
good lad.
Oh, great lad, Frank. Great lad. Great lad.
Even better when he gets you in the team, eh?
Yeah, and he could perform more often than not. He'd perform on a Saturday, which again, O'Neill sort of knew what the players' movements were. You know, they knew who the party animals were, and they knew who the.
So what were you classed as here then?
Well,
you know, and if O'Neill knew who the part animals were, what were you?
Well, I'm now a Saturday night guy.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So you play a game, you go out. But I wasn't going out really into town. I just go out for a couple of pints local or something like that there. Because in that first year, remember, I've got to get back here.
Yeah.
Well, so you're travelling back here?
Yeah.
You can't be Japanese whispers on a Saturday night, can you?
That's it. But I stopped really going out in town by then. I just go down my local boozer really by then. You know what I mean? I stopped going out in town as much. I'm fucking knocking on then. I'm 27. You know, 28. So yeah, but second year, I moved down there. Took a decision to move down there, And it just sort of all came together, you know.
Do you think that was better for you personally?
Yeah, everything, the whole thing. Say, like, don't get me wrong, I've got to give the physio at the time credit, because I'd spend 3-4 days a week after training strengthening my ankle, whereas before all they do is strap you up and give you a couple of tablets and send you on your way. And whereas I got some proper rehabilitation for my ankles.
Who was it, by the way?
Sorry?
Who was the physio?
Well, he's still there now. Dave Rennie, you call him. He's still the physio there now.
Do you think that ankle injury helped your career in a way?
Yeah, without
The
a
fact
doubt.
that it stopped you decided that you made a conscious decision that you couldn't go out as much and stuff because of the ankle.
Yeah, there was all
then it
kinds of
improved
things.
your career.
There was all kinds of decisions you had to take, you know, because I knew I was like, you know, if I wanted to play football, simple as that. And if I wanted to play football, I wasn't at that level. I wasn't performing. I was just about good enough, if you know what I mean. But I didn't want to be just about good enough. I wanted to be good. I was never going to be great. I was never good enough to be a Premier League, but I wanted to be good enough. And at the time, I was like, because of my injuries and travelling and everything else, I was just about, you know, good
Getting
enough
by.
to play 15, 20 games a season, where I wanted to play 40 games a season, you know. So that was the difference. So I had to like properly knuckle down. But my ankles were holding me back at the time, for sure, because I knew I could play 10 games.
So you had to compensate another part of your life
Yeah,
to make up for that ankle.
that's it. So but as I said, I suppose you could take it on yourself, but when I'm asking for help at all the other clubs, I wasn't getting it. They're too busy. Which, you know, in them days, there was one physio to look after 20 blokes. Whereas now there's just as many physios as there is players, you know, so everything's taken care of. So even back then, the physio at Leicester took time out of his schedule to give me certain drills I had to do with my ankles every day. So then after a couple of months, I'd take it on myself and just carry it on. So every day after training, I'd do certain things on my own. So, and I just knew it was helping. So, and everything else sort of followed from that.
Yeah.
Well, that's different, isn't it, from a Championship or Division 1 player to...
Absolutely.
You know, like you're on about, you knock the drink on the head after 6 months. Plenty of people wouldn't have done.
Yeah.
They'll have only gone down where.
Yeah.
Now, to get to that next level, you know.
Player of the season as well.
Yeah.
So had PT signed you
Really?
then? Peter Taylor signed you?
No, he came in after O'Neill. O'Neill signed me.
Right, yeah.
And then I had 2 years under O'Neill, and then Peter Taylor came in. And that's when things started to go.
Just a disaster, weren't it?
Although in saying that, it's funny, after 8 games, we're top of the Premier League. Like, and we're all looking around going, fucking, we're shit. We were never out of the top 6 until the last 8 games of the season.
Under Peter Taylor?
In his first season, never out of the top 6. In fact, up until, if you look at the league table, when we got put out in the quarter-final FA Cup by Wickham.
Wickham?
The week before, we'd just beaten Liverpool 2-0 at home, and we've gone 5th in the league. So next week's FA Cup, we're playing Wickham to get to the semis.
You're thinking it's a show-in, aren't you?
Fucking 2, and we get beat, and we're out. And then we never won another league game, and we finished 14th.
What happened? Did he just change?
The wheels just came off. Yeah, the wheels just came off. Literally, we just run out. But by that stage as well, I am going to fucking give myself a pat in the back now. That stage, I've been playing on a bad knee. I had tendonitis on my
Patella?
patella tendon.
Yeah, I'll do it for you.
Right? So I'm playing, I was told what they used to do back in the day was rub it, right, to get rid of it, but you'd have to miss 3 months, up to 3 months. So the doc told me at the beginning of the season, I can get you in, I can rub it, and you miss anywhere between 8 weeks and 3 months, 12 weeks. I said, fuck that. I said, I can't afford that. I said, I'm fucking playing the best football in my life here. So I made a decision to keep carrying on and playing. So I only trained once a week on a Friday and then played the game. And then by the end of the season, by the time I came to have my operation, apparently the cyst was the size of a cherry on my knee, on my patella tendon, because I took that decision. So I also hyperextended my knee against Man City, had to have a microfracture and my patella tendon done. So I was out for a whole season.
Yeah,
the
so the microfracture's a big one, isn't it?
So that's 3.5 months. My patella tendon was 6 months.
So you just...
So the following season, so I basically at the back end of that season, the wheels came off. The wheels just literally came off, and I missed the last 7 league games, something like that there. And I say we just struggled all the way through. Obviously, we were safe, got enough points, and then I missed the whole of Peter Taylor's next season.
Then is that when he got potted? Just bag of shit from...
Yeah, and then the first game of season, Big Sam was now in charge at Bolton. So at the beginning of the second season, Bolton rolled into town and fucking turned Leicester over 4-5-0, I think it was. And the writing was on the wall for Peter Taylor then, you know.
Was it Dave Bassett coming after?
Dave Bassett came in after
What,
that,
at
yeah.
Leicester?
Yeah.
Dave Bassett came into Leicester?
Yeah. Fucking hell, where have you been?
I'm honestly, in football knowledge is
was
Dave
gonna say,
Bassett were at Leicester?
Yeah. He took over from Peter Taylor. It was more of a...
Jesus.
What do you call it? Certain managers that come in and just do a job, don't they?
Yeah.
Just a
And then-
stopgap.
Stopgap job.
Just to
innit?
keep them up.
Just to keep them up and just...
The wheels
just
are
do-
falling off.
Yeah, bang. And I think Dave Bassett came in with Mickey Adams. I think Mickey Adams was always going to take over from Dave Bassett, but you know, even he couldn't keep Leicester in the league, Dave Bassett, so he left and then Mickey Adams took over.
Who signed Wise?
Peter Taylor signed Dennis Wise, yeah.
You get on with him?
From Chelsea?
Dennis, no.
Sure.
There's no point fucking beating around the bush, no. But I did, but then he was another one. As soon as he got a drink in him, he switched.
Yeah.
He was all right.
Little
then he
man
switched.
syndrome.
Yeah, you can call it whatever you want, but yeah, he switched, and then, you know, something happened on pre-season which was unforgivable in my eyes, you know.
That's not when you got into bother, is it?
What,
Are you on about the...
Callum Davison, he
I
smashed
was going to
Callum
ask you
Davison.
about that, yeah.
Yeah.
What was that over?
Game of cards, we're all playing cards. And Wisey, I don't know, but we were all pretty pissed in the room. And over a game of cards, and he took a dislike into Callum.
Callum's just the quietest,
Yeah,
like
exactly.
just model professional.
Yeah.
And he don't get no bother with anyone really, does he? He's just...
So yeah, it didn't work out for Wisey, you know. To be fair, again, Peter Tilley, he
Did that come to blows? Sorry.
So he's...
Did that come to blows?
yeah. Callum
Broke
ended
his
up
jaw,
in
didn't
hospital.
he?
Broke his cheekbone in 3 places or 2 places or something like that there, yeah.
So they're having a game of cards and Wise has just stood up and chinned him?
No. So there's about 8 of us in the bedroom having a game of cards, and then it got to like, I don't know, 2 o'clock in the morning. We're up for pre-season training the next day in Finland, and so it's bedtime now.
Well, probably,
So we all
probably
go-
12 o'clock at bedtime, weren't it, if you were training next
no,
day?
the curfew was 12 o'clock. But, so everyone goes to bed, but Big Matty Elliott standing in the corridor having a cigarette because you couldn't smoke in the room, so he's out in the corridor having a fag, Big Matty. And Wisey comes down the corridor, everyone's gone to bed, and he wants to go in and apologise to Callum for being an arse a bit earlier. But Callum's lying in bed, and as Callum gets up to shake his hand, Wisey punches him 3 times.
What?
Apparently.
Well, after he's gone into
Yeah.
under like
And Elliot
Yeah, like
stood there because Elliot's ribbing with
Trojan
Callum.
horse, he's
Yeah.
gone in
Yeah.
under false pretenses
Yeah.
that he's come to apologise. Oh,
And
it's
you
just-
know, Callum's not... He hasn't got a...
No,
Bad
absolutely.
body, has he?
But it
He's
was
a nice
Callum.
fella,
It was
Callum.
Callum's room. I think it was it Callum. It was Callum and Paul Dickoff. So Dickie, I think it was Dickie and Elliot were having a fag on the corridor at the time. Yeah, and Callum was rimming with Dickie, and Elliot was across the road. But they both met because you could obviously the smoke alarms would go off, but there was no smoke alarms on the on the corridor, so everyone would have a fag out in the corridor, sort of thing. But yeah.
So he's just chinned him
Chinned
as he's
him.
getting up from bed to...
Yeah, to shake his hand.
That's unacceptable, isn't it?
So that was the end of Dennis after
Did he
that.
sacked for that?
Yeah. There was a whole melee about that. There was a load of politics surrounding it. I didn't get involved in all
Was
that.
there apologies afterwards?
Well, this was one of the things we said. We said if Dennis apologised and we went and had a chat with Callum,
Forgotten about.
we'll scrub it under the carpet because nobody wants to get anyone the sack.
Yeah.
That's number one. But Wisey's got to let people know that what he's done isn't acceptable.
Yeah.
But for some reason, he wouldn't do it. He wouldn't apologise. Well, that was to do with something else to do with the club, because he was on a lot of money at the time and they were looking for an excuse to get rid of him. I don't know. That could may well have been the case. But for some reason, he would not apologise to Callum.
When you're saying he turns into a dick when he's drunk, he was obviously sober after that, and he still hasn't had the...
Well, this is it's not the first time he's had a brush with the law, though, is it?
No.
Dennis Eller.
So, I mean, a few people have mentioned through the Twitter as well about the incident while you're playing at Leicester, I think, when you're at
Stoke.
You're at Stoke.
Yeah.
You've got Wisey by the throat on the floor. Now, is there an underlining ripple there from...
Well, yes and no. You know, obviously, in between the corridors of Leicester and wherever else Wisey was, you know, I was one of the people that said, if you say sorry, so the option was there.
Yeah.
Because as I say, I didn't want to see Dennis Wise get the sack just because of what he did. But, you know, he had to own up to what, you know, he had to own the situation, and for whatever reason, he didn't. So there was probably a bit of that, but the main reason why he got that was because what happened was the ball's going out for a goal kick, I'm shielding it, and Wisey's seen an opportunity there to do me.
Yeah.
So as I'm shielding the ball, he's come at the back of me and fucking scraped the studs all the way down my calf, right? Which anyone will tell you, it doesn't tickle when somebody does it. Yeah. It's not a sensation that you turn around, oh, thanks very much. So I thought, oh, fucking hell, here we go. He's at it again. Mr. Wise is at it again. So I thought, okay, just leave it, forget about it, because it would have been very easy to turn around and run after him. So I thought, no, I'm going to leave it. Something will happen. And, like, probably the best thing for me that day was a referee, because I knew Uriah Rennie was a referee. Me and Uriah used to meet not by choice, just by chance, at Arlington Dog Track. And so he used to go down on Saturday night, and another time we'd take the girls out and go to the dogs, and then go for a Chinese with Bertie Biggins, Wayne Biggins. So he was refereeing that day, so you get talkative, quite friendly.
Yeah.
So he's done me a massive favour at the end of the day. So anyway, say the ball's getting cleared. I think it was a corner for us, and they've cleared it, and the ball sort of dropped into that no man's land between the halfway line and the 18-yard box, and Wisey's going towards the ball.
Your eyes lit up.
And then it was like, bingo, this is it. Don't fucking waste it. You've never seen a fucking half-crippled centre-half run as quick and all your legs towards that little shit. So I fucking started motoring, and I tell you, when you watch it, I've done a fucking Karate Kid Kung Fu. I've actually taken him out mid-air from the fucking leg, right? Taking him out, he's on the floor, and that's when I thought, right, I'm grabbing the little fucker.
So you've gone again?
Yeah, so yeah, I've said, like, what I'm saying is, seeing the eyes thought, right, he's getting it now. He's done me an hour earlier. He's having it now. So I've just, like, literally took off running, and then I've jumped up in the air and fucking caught him, bang. He's on the ground. I've just got on top of him, fucking strangled him. And as I'm strangling him, he's grabbing my balls. He's fucking squeezing my balls like that. Like, he's fucking...
You both getting tighter.
Yeah. But yeah, and I've just gone, doesn't fucking hurt, Wisey. Doesn't fucking hurt. And then the next thing, it all comes in and people are shoving me off. And if you actually look at it again, you see me like crawling out on all hands and fours like a lost little
getting away from the scene of the crime.
Uriah comes up, pulls me over. I'm thinking, it's a red card. It's a red card offence. No shit of it out. I've got somebody on the fucking strangle.
No, not the karate kick. The strangle
yeah, that's a yellow card in the strangle.
And the throttle.
And the throttle's another one. Uriah's bringing me over, and I'm like, fucking, there's another one. They had a list of God knows how many sendings off. And as he's dragging me over, you know, all the melee's going off, and he's dragging me into a little bit of no man's land. He starts fucking winking at me. Uriah, as if to say, don't worry, I'm not going to send you off. So he gets me on and he goes, I've got to give you a card, but it's only a yellow. And I went, cheers, Uriah. Next time I see it, the dogs, first drink's on me.
I'm gonna have to give you the card, but it's only a yellow.
It's a red card. It's a fucking red card.
There's probably 2 red cards in there, isn't there?
Exactly. You know, so, but anyway,
Karate kicking in the
top man
throttle.
Uriah.
Going back to Leicester, were you there when the? Because I remember being in the press. Was it? I think that was a pre-season tour. When was there a girl involved or something?
Oh no, I'd left then. Yeah, I'd left then. Touch wood. I'd just gone to Stoke.
They all thingy, didn't they? They all.
There was something. Yeah.
They all get arrested for something. Or
Yeah, I think Sinclair was.
Frank,
he was involved. Dick
Matt,
Love.
Elliott, and Keith Gillespie, I think, or Paul Dickoff, I think it was, were in jail for a week. It might have been Keith. No, Matt got let out after. It was Frank, Dickie, and Keith Gillespie.
Yeah, there was hell on, wasn't they?
Yeah, but thankfully, I'd tell you where I was though when I heard the news. You know, Sunday night, I'm in the fucking kitchen with a glass of wine, watching the fucking TV. Dun dun dun! Fucking ITN news comes on. Breaking news: 10 Leicester City players have been arrested in the Manga resort. For being accused of sexual assault on this, that and the other. I've got on my hands and knees, and I didn't believe in God by that. I believed in God when I was a kid, then I became an atheist. For those 5 minutes I believed in God. Thank you fucking Lord. Thank you fucking Lord for me not being there, because as sure as eggs are eggs, I'm Taggart's in fucking jail. Taggart's in jail.
You're gonna go that stethoscope out again.
Oh my God! I swear.
Taggart's in jail.
Taggart's in jail. My missus is on the phone there. It's Mrs. What's going off? What's going off? And all, you know, if you knew Calf Elliott then, there was no holds barred. She goes, I don't know, but they can keep the fucking twat in jail for as long as they want, as far as I'm concerned. That's Elliott's wife. Oh dear.
So how did it all end that then?
Well, they were trying to. The lads weren't. There were prostitutes. There was a couple of teams over. A couple of German teams were over, and a Swedish team or a Norwegian team were over at the same time. And all these girls had been shipped in for them. So they were on the way home. Realised Leicester were staying there. So they said, "Oh, let's go back and have a bit of overtime." But the lads weren't interested. The only lad that was interested was the German Stefan Freund. So he got involved, Stefan Freund. He got involved with one of them, but that was it. The rest was all because the lads wouldn't play ball with him. They then said,
flipped it on its
head, and said, "Right, let's do something else." Because they were literally coming into the rooms, and the lads were telling them to get out. And there was a bit of hand-to-hand combat, no punching, but there was a bit of pushing going on, saying, "Get the fuck out of my room! You're in my space." But these women were persistent apparently, and they just wouldn't leave. So. Anyway, I thought this is
Taggart's in jail.
No, but this is classic fucking Leicester City, right? At the time, so we've got Jamie Schoolcroft. He's been locked up, right? So what happened was the next day. Obviously, I wasn't there, but I've heard the story 1,000 times. So the police are involved now, right? All the police come saying, "Right, we want all your passports." So. All the lads have to hand over the passports to the Spanish police, and they're going through the passports, and the girls are there, these prostitutes are there, and they're identifying all the lads. Now, we had Ian Walker was the keeper, right, and he had this small mole on the side of his face, and with Jimmy Schoolcroft, who'd a proper mole on the side of his face, his nickname was the Mole, actually, and so one of the girls has identified Jimmy Schoolcroft. Now, Jimmy Schoolcroft was the only player not to go out that night in La Manga, and he ended up being fucking done by the women. He ended up in jail for 3 days, and he didn't even go out. Ian Walker, he goes, "Well, what about me? I was out." And says, "No, you've not been identified." He went, "Right, see you later, lads, I'm off." And left fucking Scully in the shit.
It's a jungle, innit? Eat or be eaten.
That's when you need a twin.
Yeah. That's when you need your twin.
It wasn't me.
Jesus.
So that's just sort of, you know, shows you what kind of a debacle the whole thing was. But for them lads that were in for a week, like, apparently it was tough going, you know. Tough going. But then, bearing in mind, 2 seasons before, we'd been kicked out of the Manga before for Stan Collymore letting off a fire extinguisher in the main bar.
Right.
So it's
Were you there for that one?
I was there for that one. Martin O'Neill had this thing about taking the players away. I think it must have been since when he used to play under Cloughy at Forest.
Yeah.
So we're in the cup final, and they used to go away the week before the cup final for a few days. And the year before, we'd gone to Tenerife, and then we lost. We said, let's go somewhere different. So we went to La Manga, and we're all having a jolly time, and it's dead. La Manga's dead at that time of year, and there's only a few couples in the piano bar. All the lads are on the lash, bladdered, and then fucking Stan brings it upon himself to let the fire extinguisher off, but it's one of them powder ones, so it just covers the whole place. And I mean, within 5 minutes, it's like fucking Christmas in La Manga. So me and I'm rooming with Tim Flowers, the keeper, and so we've all gone to bed. I've fucking scarboured the bed sharpish after Stan did that. Comes down the next day, and the kit man's there with Steve Walford, the coach, and the assistant manager, John Robertson, and we're going, right, massive hangover, rough as fuck, the pair of us. All right, Manga, give us a kit. And Steve Walford's there, and he goes...
Were you training next day?
Yeah, we had to train next day. Yeah, we didn't fuck about us, boy. And so we're going down to get the kit in the foyer, and she says, right, give us a kit, Manga. And Steve Walford turns around and goes, lads, no training today. So me and Tim are high-fiving each other. Fucking get in. And before we get finished high-fiving and going, oh, come on, Tim, let's get back to bed. Steve Walford goes, pack your bags, lads. We're leaving. I says, you what? He says, yeah, we've been kicked out. So we'd been there less than 24 hours and we're on our way back. And this is the week before. This is the Monday. We flew out on the Sunday. This is the Monday, and the cup final's on the following Sunday.
Is this the cup final you won?
Oh, yeah, cup final we won. So we're out. We've been kicked out of the Manga club because of the fire extinguisher.
Did that get out in the press?
Cheers, Stan.
Oh my God.
It's sorted.
So what happened was, what they did was we packed all the bags on the coach and then on the plane, and they decided that to stop the press getting good footage, they drove the team bus right up to the side of the airplane, and they unloaded all our bags out of the airplane onto the coach and then out the back gate off Heathrow Airport. Yeah. But they're all waiting for us. All the press are waiting on us. Someone's obviously got a tip off to say that they're going out the back gate. So no passport control, no customs, nothing. Bang! We could have had anything in our bags then. You know what I mean? Some of them probably did. And so we're out the back gate. All the press are there, and I'm sat beside Muzzy, but I'm sat at the window on this side as we're driving out, and Muzzy's leaned across me as we're driving out the gate and sticks his 2 fingers out the window to all the press men, right? And the next thing you know, the next day, it's in the fucking paper, in the Sun or the Mirror, whatever, the Star, whatever. I gets a call up to the manager's office, don't I? Page 5 of the fucking Sun. And there's a picture of me, my face at the window. I got there.
And it's Muzzy's
fingers, your face.
Yeah. So I've had to explain this to the manager and say, listen, and I didn't dub Muzzy in, but I said, Muzzy, I'm telling you now, I've just been up to the manager's office. He says, all you can see is my face and your fingers out that window. So fair play to Muzzy, he said, I'll go up and tell him. But Muzzy was a golden child, you know what I mean? And rightly so, because he was a top player. So I don't know what happened, but I said, I'm getting pelters here from my word, because the day before that, I forgot to tell you, I've been called up again, page 5 of a different paper. There's a picture of me with fucking £20 notes stuck all over my head in the foyer with my arms around the physio. Well, the 2 physios in the hang, lying there, we're all steamers, and I've got fucking £20 notes stuck all over my face. So O'Neill gets me up one day, goes, what's going off here? I says, we just had a private bet, boss, about someone. We said Phil Gilchrist wouldn't come back from the toilet. You know when they say, I'm just going to the toilet and they go to bed? Yeah. So we had a bet and I won the bet. So I'm in that day, and then the next day I'm in for the fingers. So 2 days in the trot, my face is in the fucking papers.
How was that getting to the press, that picture of you with...
Well, obviously there was whoever was at the Manga. There was this couple in the corner, this Swedish couple, started taking photographs for some reason.
You think it was them?
Bastards.
Yeah, and I think that's how it got in the paper. And obviously they sold that photograph to the papers, and it got out. But that was only a bit of harmless fun between me and a couple of the staff, but it still got out. You know, obviously the one with the fingers in the window.
It's undefendable.
I didn't go down. Yes, it didn't go down too well with the manager, but it wasn't me.
So who did you play in the cup final?
I was at Tranmere. We played Tranmere in the cup final. And to be fair, we struggled. You know, we had about 20 chances, and it was basically Big Elliot came up the trumps with 2 headers in the final. You know, they had a man sent off. I think it was Clint Hill.
Clint Hill.
Yeah, got sent off in the final.
Yeah, we had a
Tranmere.
message saying, should he have been sent off?
I can't remember. I can't remember much about that day, to be honest. But I just knew we won, and that was the main thing. But we didn't play well. We had umpteen chances. You bet your money against Muzzy from 6 yards, and he scuffed one from 6 yards. And they say Big Elliot come up with 2 headers.
So when were you supposed to be coming back then? If you went on the Sunday, were you supposed to come back?
We packed Wednesday to Thursday, and then go home, and then travel down on the Friday. Spend 2 nights down it.
So was that it then? After you'd won the cup, all forgiven? To an extent, obviously it softens the blow. doesn't it?
Yeah, obviously. You know, I think as soon as that's out the window.
It's his team talk sorted, isn't it? So listen, lads.
Oh,
we
big
cannot
time.
lose this.
Yeah, but so are them ones where you know.
We definitely. This is a game we fucking really need to
Again,
win.
yeah. Again, you know, it was all in the press. I don't know if it was on the TV or anything I got there, but it's definitely on the written press, all that. So you know, we felt obviously, you know yourself. You think you've got to right or wrong here. How do you right that wrong? You got to go and win the cup. But say we struggled. Fair play to Tranmere. You know, they played the part.
What was O'Neill like at letting you have a drink on a Friday then? Because obviously I played under Gary Mills.
Yeah.
And they were in the same Clough team. And Mills used to take us for a pint on a Friday.
Yeah.
Did
Well,
O'Neill?
Viv used to let us have a drink at dinner on a Friday. But you know, by that time it's like, what's the point in having 1 glass of wine or 2 glasses of wine? It's a waste of time. You're not. You know, I was one of them, or I still am. If I'm not having a night out, it's pointless. You know what I mean? There's no real enjoyment in it. But O'Neill, he'd probably preferred if you didn't have a drink. But I don't think he was that bothered. It was one of them ones. If you can't perform on a Saturday, and it's because you're drinking or your lifestyle, then you need to sort your lifestyle out.
Yeah.
But until that point
Come up, you know, I don't think he turned a blind eye. You know, there's many a time like on them those weeks before you go to a cup final or, you know, before an important game, he'd take you away. Like when we went to Tenerife the year before, he was first, and the boys said, right, we'll meet at 7 o'clock, and you'd have an hour with him. And you'd be able to have a chat with him and that there, whereas normally you wouldn't really get the chat to Martin O'Neill. So, and that was, again, 3, 4, 5 days before the game. He'd say, right, everyone in the bar, we're going to have a drink for an hour, and then you can go and do what you want. You know, so...
Big contrast between that and Tony Pulis then when you get to Stoke.
Yeah, Tony's a different animal. Tony's more in his coaching side, more in the...
Fucking boring, weren't it?
Oh, I bet.
It's the shape, just
I will say,
shape.
Tony was brilliant for me. Mickey Adams, I played for Mickey in the Premier League, but I tried to explain to Mickey, I can't train every day at that intensity. You know, I've just come back from a serious knee injury. I've been out for a year. I've helped you get back in the Premier League. Your training wasn't that intense. All right, you're playing Saturday, Tuesday, Saturday. And I tried to explain, I can't train like that. I can't train on a Monday. You know what I mean? My body's in bits. But he wouldn't have it. Whereas Tony Pulis, I used to train twice a week with Tony. I'd just go up the gym and cycle for an hour.
How old are you at this point?
When I went to Stoke, 33, yeah. 33, something like that. Yeah, 33, 34. So, but Tony...
Because you're the intensity of his training, like you said, but...
It's not so much
it takes that understanding of where you are, where your body's at.
And that's why I ended up going to Stoke. You know what I mean? Because I just couldn't get on with it. He just wouldn't listen. You know.
It's not so much intensive training, it's just fucking repetitive.
Yeah, he was very repetitive.
Very, like, just shape.
Yeah.
That's why he's the best at going in and keeping teams up, because he just goes in and just fucking drills shape into you.
Yeah, he's one of them. He didn't want players running off shape. You know what I mean? They wanted, even when they were going forward, they wanted them playing it a certain way. Yeah. You know, they wanted someone in the hole, always someone in the hole, and then obviously somebody up front. And he wanted his full-backs weren't allowed to overlap, ever. They just had to support the wingers. We had Chris Commons, and remember that? I don't remember that Dutch lad got from Ajax, Peter Oikstra. Fuck me, what a player he was. But he was always injured, always bad ankles anyway. But he didn't want his full-backs overlapping, ever. He didn't want his, you know, the old school tactic of chuck a centre half up front if it's the last 5 minutes. I used to scream at him if we were losing. Shall I go up front and cause a bit of havoc? And I go, nah, just stay there. No. So he'd rather get beat 2-1 than try and
get back in the game.
Try and get a point. Do you know what I mean? He's one of them managers. But you know, he was big into his shape, and it was fucking torrid.
So were you playing with it at Stoke?
I was just playing with a bunch of kids. Well, Addy was there. Addy Akinpai.
Yeah.
With Ed the Goy in goals, old Chelsea keeper.
But I mean, at the back.
At the back, just a bunch of kids.
Dewberry.
No, Jubes came in a bit later,
yeah.
But when I first went in, it was just a bunch of kids who didn't know left from right. So I was like literally coaching them on the pitch. You know what I mean? And I think that's, again, one of the main reasons why he wanted someone like me in there, just to help out his back four. He knew I couldn't run around a lot, but he had a bit of pace in the team, like Clive Clark. He had John Halls from Arsenal, who's now a fucking model for Next.
Is he?
Yeah. 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 If you go online at Next, you'll see he's got blonde hair. Fucking, I was looking at a jumper for my son for Christmas, and fucking Halls he had it on. That's fucking John Halls. You're fucking right back at fucking Stoke. So yeah, with a load of kids, you know, with Darryl Russell in midfield, he was young at the time. With another lad from Arsenal who was playing in there, I can't remember his name. He was a Swedish kid, decent player. And that was it, with Gifton Noel Williams as well. Labotte Jones in, the centre forward from Southampton, went on to Kenwyn Jones. He came in on loan the season after.
Went back and signed him again then, didn't he? When
he was big,
that's right.
Big lad, wasn't he?
So, you know, a lot of young lads So I was literally it was like coaching while the game was going on, basically, for me. I enjoyed it though. That's one of the things that made me get into coaching, because I enjoyed it. You know, and the players wanted to listen, which also helps. Even though they were young and daft, they wanted to listen. So that was decent. With Clint Hill there as well, of course.
Yeah.
Went back. See, he played Clint Hill, who's saying he played Clint Hill left back, and played Clive Clark left wing. If we were playing away from home.
Just so you were solid.
So you were solid. Like, so it was like, you can imagine the football at times.
Oh, even when we went up, we weren't pretty.
No.
We weren't pretty a lot of time. Just had fucking the long throw. It just used to cause carnage.
So after a couple of years at Stoke, then you've got that coaching bug. With the young lads, and then progressing on.
Yeah, well, it's funny you mentioned Gary Mills, because what happened was I sort of finished. I'd retired and I did nothing for a year, and then I thought, fucking hell.
Gap year.
Well, yeah, you could call it that. Yeah, that's a good way of putting it. And then I thought,
did you go back to your fucking first 7 months at Barnsley?
Well, sort of, yeah. There was a few holidays involved. I'll tell you what I did do. I went fucking yacht racing in Mallorca, and the King of Spain, with the yacht I was racing in, the King of Spain was racing against his class of yacht was in the same class as mine. So no.
Have you thought of the yacht racing?
Well, you know, just for something.
Must have been near Magaluf, was it?
Yeah, well,
that's why he didn't win.
It was in Palma, in the Bay of Palma there.
Is she on a pedal or just chasing some fucking German on a pedal?
I did the first day. I kept getting bollocked by the fucking skipper for not moving quick enough around the fucking boat, and I thought, I didn't turn up for the second day's race, and I said, you can fuck off.
You should have seen me for the last 15 years. I'm not fucking quick.
I've had 17 years or something. somebody tell me I'm shit or not doing stuff right. I said, I'm not fucking taking it from you. I'm not coming back. So yeah, fucking yacht racing against the King of Spain, believe it or not. So I was doing stuff like that, enjoying myself basically. And then I thought, I've got to do something. So I actually ended up with Millsy at Tamworth as player coach. But Millsy wanted me to play and I wanted the coach. So it didn't fucking go down too well. Yeah. And then in the end, we sort of parted ways. And then I ended up back at Leicester under Gary Megson. And
character in him, Mega.
Mega was quality, I tell you.
Is it right about the little drab of whiskey at half time? And
I can't remember that. He was only there fucking 2 minutes, Mega, before he fucked off to Bolton. But that was the funny bit. So he's brought me in. Obviously, he weren't like a popular choice for Leicester at the time. You know, Gary Megson, the fans were not right a bit. So they said, well, you've got to what if you bring an ex-player in? So I was doing all my badges at the time anyway. So I got the nod, basically. So I came in as like first team coach. Couldn't fucking coach. Fuck all at that time, you know, but it was more. But anyway, so we're at the training ground one day and I've gone to get changed. Change my boots, I think it was, and go up for some lunch in the canteen. And so I've gone into the coach's changing room and Mego sat there with Burrows, Frank Burrows, who was his assistant at the time. And they've gone, as I've walked in, they've looked up since went, sorry Tags, can you just give us a minute? I went, oh yeah, no problem. So I went, just threw my boots in, went straight down to the canteen, went and got myself a cup of coffee and sat with Sky Sports News was on. So I was like, oh fucking hell, I wonder what them two are doing down there in the changing room. Anyway, comes on the news, breaking news, Gary Megson, there's people saying that Gary Megson's on could be leaving Leicester and going to Bolton. So I'm thinking, fucking hell, this is news. So I thought, and I had a funny 10 seconds. And I went, I know what I'll do. So I phoned the bookies up. And I said, can I have what price is Gary Megson to go to Bolton? And so they give me a price. He says, it's gone from fucking 10 to 1. I says, give me a fucking grand on it now. So I swear I had a fucking grand on Gary Megson going to Bolton.
No, am I going to be made caretaker manager? It might be me the next game. Get me a grand.
Give me a grand on Megson going to front. And I wasn't a gambler. I didn't really gamble. But I thought, this is an opportunity too good to fucking miss.
They don't come around here often, do they?
So I just thought, get me a fucking grand on it. So I won fucking 3 grand. He was 3 to 1.
But by the time you got it on?
Yeah, by the time I got it on. So I got 3 grand. Happy days.
Cheers, Gary.
So anyway, Mego fucks off the bolt and leaves us in the shit again.
Some in the shit.
Yeah.
Always come up smelling a rose.
And then we gets called into the chairman's fucking office at King Power Stadium, which it is, Walkers as it was then. And so me and Frank Burrows go up and he's like, okay. In the office, I'm thinking, what the fuck's going to happen here? You know, I've only just been in the club, back at the club 6 weeks as a fucking coach. So Milan comes in, secretary, Milan, all formal and that, bollocks, you know how it is. And sits down, he goes, right, lads, I want you two to look after the team for the foreseeable future until I get a manager in. I said, okay, fucking fine. I'm like, holy fuck. I ain't not got a fucking clue what I'm doing. I know how to speak to lads and that, but coaching and all that. So walks out of there, I'm saying, Frank, let's get one thing fucking straight. You're in fucking charge. Right?
I'll just say it's your fault.
It's your fucking fault. I did say to him, you're in fucking charge. But all the press were saying it was me. I'm in charge of the team because, you know, I was an ex-player, whatever. So yeah, the fucking shit's hit the fan, basically. It was funny, first game I've got this lad, the Dutch lad, God, he came on loan from Fulham. I can't remember his name for the life of me. Collins John. Remember him? Collins John. Right? Yeah. So he's at loan in Leicester. And it's like, this is a Thursday afternoon when I've been given the news. So we're in for training Thursday. I've got the physios come up to the manager's office. I'm fucking in pole position in the manager's office. And Dave Rennie's come down and said, I've got a problem with Collins John. He doesn't want to play. He says he's got a fucking injury. Right, and he doesn't want to chance it. And I'm saying, well, is he fit to train? He's saying, yeah, well, he's trained, but he it's a bit niggly. So I'm saying, right, first fucking morning in, caretaker manager, straight down the physio's room, say, Collins John. I said, Collins, can I have a word with you, please? Bang, up to the room, up the thing. So I sat him down and I just said, listen, Collins, I know you don't want to play. The fucking club's in a mess at the minute. I said, but I fucking need you to play on Saturday. We're playing Burnley, actually. I said, I fucking need you to play. I said, Leicester love their centre forwards, and I fucking guarantee you that if you play on Saturday, this is an O'Neill tactic, you will fucking score. That's how much I fucking believe in you. But you have to believe in yourself. So anyway, I fucking cajoled him, and he played, and he within 5 minutes, I think it was 10, 11 minutes, he fucking scored and we won the game 1-0. And I was like, happy fucking days, right?
I'm good at this.
A week later, or 2 weeks later, he didn't play again. Let's put it like that. So we won 1, drew 2, and we lost 1. And then we had that cup game against Chelsea. But the moral of the story was how it was quite funny. And he may fucking get the police in on this. So he fucks off back to Fulham a week later. Doesn't play another year, doesn't kick another ball, but I've got a fucking win under the belt, first game. And I goes into reception, and in the reception's a fucking Gucci old doll, right? And it's packed, full of gear, fucking packed. So I've said to the receptionist, what's that? So I've been here for 2 or 3 weeks. I said, whose is it? He goes, it's Collins John's. I said, he's fucked off. I says, yeah, I know he's left it and he's not gotten contact to open it or to get it back. So I said, fucking open it. Let's see what's in it. Right? So we've opened it and he's got this toilet bag, so with all the fucking perfumes in it, all the aftershave. So I'm trying to bit on. I went, that's fucking nice, that one. I'm having that. So I've got this fucking £150 bottle of Hermes eau de fucking parfume, and I fucking shoved it in my fucking toilet bag on, saying, well, if that cunt's fucking off, I'm taking that on. So I walked out with his fucking aftershave, £150 bottle. Cheers, Collins, if you're listening.
I can't believe you only took the aftershave. I'd have just lifted the whole
bag. I thought, I left that to the girls. I said, fucking do
fill your boots.
That. Yeah.
Crack on with that.
Cheers, Collins.
And then Oldham, was it?
Yeah, so
Oldham with Dick off.
Oldham, so what happened then? There was like a succession of managers came through the door at Leicester. So
was there ever any talk you just... Because not a bad start, really.
No, but we only lost one. We lost one game, and then we had a cup game against Chelsea, and we nearly won, but we lost. So a lot, but like we were shite. Leicester were proper shit at the time. And then they brought in. So Mego came in. Then me and Frank Burrows took the team for 4 or 5 games, and then they brought in Ian Holloway. So while he took it till the end of the season, he couldn't keep the team in the league. He got the sack, and then they brought in Nigel. So now Leicester in fucking League One, it's unheard of, you know what I mean? It's like another Leeds, do you know what I mean? And then they brought in Nigel Pearson, and he fucking like transformed the place, Nigel, to be fair to him. Absolutely brilliant. But that was my last year, and Mandrix was still in control of the club, and he had this American guy in who didn't even fucking know I used to play for Leicester, you know, that's how... he wasn't even a football man. He used to work for UPS apparently. So it was the end of my. That was the second year. So that was my first year. Sorry, second year Leicester went back up to the Championship. Nigel's doing brilliant. Nigel loves me. I'm doing well with the reserves. He's getting me on the bench for the odd first team game. You know, giving me opinions and that. Brilliant. Fucking loving it. And then get to the playoff. Semi-final against Cardiff, and Kermit tries that fucking chip, doesn't he?
Yeah.
Next thing you know, Nigel gets a fucking sack because they don't win the playoffs, and even just to get them there, mate, was, I mean, an unbelievable achievement just to get them from where he took over in League One to get them to the playoffs in 2 seasons. But so Mandrix sacked them, and my contract was running out. So by this time, Dickie's got the manager's job. And he phoned me up and he said, I want you to come be my assistant at Oldham. And I'm like, okay. I said, I'll tell you what, Dickie, I'm going to have a word with Nigel, because Nigel at this time it was just before the end of the season, we're in the playoff. So I went and seen Nigel and I said, Nigel, looks like Dickie's getting the job at Oldham. I says, I don't really want to go to Oldham, as you can probably guess why. But I said, I want to stay here, but I said, I need a fucking team. At times I'm coaching 5, 6, 7 players. It's not enough. And he said, right, I'll make sure we get you in some kind of league. So it's getting all sorted out, where they're restructuring all the reserve team, as I would call it, but it's all unders now, under 23s as it is known now. I said, right, brilliant. Anyway, so I'm driving up to meet Dickie to have a meeting with him anyway. So I said, I'll come and talk to you. You tell me what's on offer, and then I'll go away, have a word with Nigel, and I'll make a decision on it. I can't be as more honest or as more open as that. So both parties know what the crack is. So halfway up the fucking motorway, me going to meet Dickie, I get a phone call from Nigel saying, oh, they've sacked me. He said, just get up the road. Get yourself up the road to Oldham, says, because it looks like I'm going to be sacked tomorrow. And sure as eggs were eggs, that was him done.
You didn't phone the bookies, did you? Can I get a
No, I should have done, shouldn't I?
Can I get a Nigel Pearson, the next manager?
I was fucking driving at the time, and you know us, man, we can't fucking do 2 things at once. Well, you can't do 1 thing at the time, never mind 2. But, so that was that. So my hands were tied. So I'm on my way up to Oldham anyway to speak to Dickie, and that sort of made my mind up. That there was no choice. He didn't want to renew my contract anyway, this American UPS guy. They were just trying to cut their cloth because they were trying to sell the club to the now owners. So they were trying to make the books, make the books look nice and sexy. Do you know what I mean? So that's how I ended up at Oldham. It was sort of thrust upon me. I'm not saying I wouldn't have went there, but I was never going to make a decision until I knew exactly what was what with both teams, with both clubs.
And how did you find it at Oldham?
Yeah, I'd rather not talk about that. I'll tell you, at the beginning, it was great. No, it was great. And again, fuck me. People go on about, like, fair play to Dickie, he pulled rabbits out of hats that I don't think many people could have done for the time we were there.
In terms of getting players in?
Getting players in for nothing. Which turned out in the end to be his problem. Because if you didn't play the players that you had for nothing, you'd have to pay so much of the wages.
Yeah.
Even though some of the players.
Right, so he's getting players in from Premiership teams,
Championship
teams. If they play, you don't have to pay them.
Correct.
If they don't play, you've got to pay the parent club
so much
X amount towards the wages.
So Crofty, Lee Croft, right, comes in. He's like 5 stone overweight, right.
It's not too bad, is it? You can get away with that.
And before the Croft, he did well, but after a couple of months, he just becomes a bit stale. I'm saying, you got to drop him. You can't drop him, because if you drop him, I've got to pay fucking Derby some money. And the owner at the time wasn't having any. The owner at the time didn't have any fucking money.
Yeah.
He had less money than fucking Dickie at the time, the manager. So it just became a spiral in effect. Dickie, we had Matt Derbyshire, he was the same. He came from Forest. I think he was on 10 grand a week. We're paying £500 a week. We got the keeper from Man U, young kid. He was on 7 grand a week. We're paying £500 a week. So we were big, stealing and borrowing from everywhere. But the budget, and then this is funny. This is funny, like, because the budget in our final year was £500,000 for the whole first team squad. But Dickie was getting these players in. Who were on 10 grand a week and 7 grand a week, and all this at the parent clubs. So the chairman and the owner at the time thought that we should be near the top 6, because if you looked at their wages on top of everybody else,
calibre of player that
then you're on a £4 million budget here.
Yeah.
And we're like, get fucking real, mate. I said the only reason why Lee Croft is here is because no other fucker wants him. It's as simple as that. The only reason why Matt Derbyshire's here is because Forest don't want him. You know what I mean? And we got Shefty Coochie in as well.
Big chef.
Yeah. And Shefty was great for like 2 months, and then the fucking wheels come off him as well.
He must have been 40 plus at this
point.
point.
That's what I'm saying. And Shefty's still trying to play the same football he's always played. you know, at him in your face, running around like a fucking headless chicken. But what Shefty forgot to realise, that he was knocking 40 and he couldn't run around. But Shefty wasn't good enough, bless him, to work out how you play football in your late 30s.
Without running.
Yeah, without running. He didn't have that nice of doing that. So you get 20 minutes out of Shefty and then he's fucked. So then, you know, but in fairness to Dicky, you know, he pulled up all kinds of stumps to try and, you know, make it work. But unfortunately, there was just no funds there. You know, and every time we got a player, so we got Dale Stevens, signed him, got him on a new contract. Next thing you know, Charlton bang. But Charlton bought him for 300 grand. You know, come on. He's fucking quality player. Well, he's a Premier League player now, Dale. Gone. Got Torquay in the first team. Gone. To Brentford. As soon as they went up, they were bang.
Yeah.
They're gone. Simple. So, and I know there's a lot of clubs for that. But when you're not getting any of that money back to reinvest,
you're fucked.
You're fucked.
You're
fucked anyway.
You can't keep churning them out.
You're fucked anyway, but you can't just keep churning them out.
Yeah.
You can't.
You're hands are tied with who you've got to pick every week anyway.
So yeah, it was, and then obviously we got beat 4 in the bounce, and the manager or the chairman went, right, we're putting you all on gardening leave. You see, he couldn't even afford to pay us up. That's how fucking skint he was. He couldn't afford to pay us up. And bearing in mind, Dickie'd probably gone 6 months without being paid at that stage.
Yeah.
And then the twat has the audacity to sack him after he'd not even paid him for up to 6 months.
It's always
you know, and people don't realise, the fans don't see that. All they see is, oh, you're losing.
Yeah.
I say, well, you know, it's nothing to do with what we're doing. You know, I'm not saying we couldn't have done stuff slightly different, as in change of formation or, you know, change of tactic, as in a high press. You know, we're all going about this gig. And we were doing that at Oldham fucking 10 years ago, mate. Fucking, you know, it wasn't fucking, it's not brand new.
Yeah.
Well, Dickie was trying to do it, but again, with Shefty, you get 20 minutes out of Shefty, he can't fucking run. So, you know, that came to its natural end, I suppose.
Did you get much stick off the fans?
Me personally, no, because I think what endeared me to the Oldham fans was when I knocked one of the Carlisle players out on the sideline.
Yes. We've had a mention.
Inadvertently, yeah, knocked one of the Oldham Carlisle players out. So, and
inadvertently.
Yeah, well, they're all picking on. God, what's his name again? I'm shit with names. So we had this player, and he was a really skillful player. He's playing. I think he plays for Morecambe now. Played Oldham. And we're playing Carlisle at Boundary Park, and there's an incident, and this Carlisle player puts him through over the line, but then starts grabbing him, and there's 2 or 3 of them round. And this lad here, again, like Callum, nicest lad in the world, wouldn't hurt a fly. So I'm like 20 yards away from it, and I can see so obviously I'm on the bench. So again, I've gone, fuck this, so I've just sprinted down. But I've actually put my arms out to shield the player, and as I've done it, I've fucking bingoed one of the Carlisle players, and you see it on the camera, as I've bingoed, he's just gone plop straight on the floor. But at Oldham there's only one camera, because there's only one stand, and the camera used to be on that the far side of the pitch. So obviously they've looked at all the footage, and you can't actually see me banjoing this Carlisle player.
Not guilty.
Yeah. So I actually got a 1-match ban for leaving the technical area, not for banjoing this Carlisle player.
Banjoing.
So I got lucky that time. You know what I mean?
You're here anyway, referee.
So I think maybe the fans sort of liked that I was like a full, you know, I was up for the cause, even though we were fucking shit. And, you know, unfortunately, you've seen the plight of Oldham, another team where, you know, Paul Scholes went in and then left. You know,
yeah.
I know it's under a different owner, but, you know, it's just a basket case.
Yeah.
You know,
we had David Dunn on who's done the same.
Yeah, exactly. That's right. And, you know, you've no chance. And what happens is, as well, like Dickie got lucky because he got a chance at Doncaster. Obviously, because of the style of football he played, you know, that high press, you know, in your face. And I think at the time the chairman at Doncaster loved that high energy football. And that's one of the reasons why he got the job at Dun, even though he got the sack from Oldham.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
But in every other instance that I've ever come across, if you go in and take a club up like Oldham and don't make it work, then that scars your CV for life.
Yeah.
You know, a lot of
Struggle
people,
to get another.
and good coaches and good managers struggle then from then on in.
Have you struggled?
Yeah, I've not had another job coaching. You know,
Not for lack of trying either.
absolutely. But people, you just scarred, and at varying levels. You know, so I've sort of given up on it. But because I do work in the media, I work for Leicester now in a different capacity. But that's not to say I wouldn't like to still do some coaching. I enjoy the coaching, but
You enjoying the media side?
yeah, no, it's good. But it's more like an ambassador role. So
Yeah.
you do all kinds. You do the media plus
Meet and greets.
meet and greet.
stuff
You
like that.
know, I do a whole lot of hosting as well and stuff like that. So it's very varied and intermingled with anything that's got to do with I say a progressive football club like Leicester. You know, which they are very progressive now. But at that level, like an Oldham level, or you know, you talk about Bury's. Look what happens to Bury. So
did that not surprise you, the Bury thing? Then did you think?
No.
Well,
not at all, because
from being in that on the other side of it, you're thinking, well, one's going to go here.
well, if one goes to be, you know, Bolton, a club we've just been a club very, very close to my heart. You know, hours from going out of
Yeah.
business itself. So
Are Oldham in trouble then, or is the chairman cute with it all? Has he got it? Is
Well,
he
he-
running it well? But obviously the
well,
manager
he's not
doesn't.
there. No, he's but when I was there, no, he was struggling. He was borrowing. He was asking people for loans and everything. People that he knew.
Just to keep it ticking over.
Yeah. Well, it was. I mean, some of the stuff that came out after is ridiculous. Like stories I was hearing. You know, unbelievable. And so that's what I'm saying. If a Bury can go and Oldham can go, very, very easily.
Yeah.
A Rochdale,
Just
you know.
a knock-on effect then.
Yeah, absolutely.
After another.
Yeah.
So that's what I'm saying about young managers. You've got to be very, very careful which job you take on. You think you have an opportunity to go and manage. Yeah, great. The initial euphoria of that takes over. You know,
That
what you
excitement.
should. Yeah, the excitement of it all takes over. What your heart takes over your head, sort of thing. And what you really need to do is think down and go, where am I going to be in 12 months, 6 months time? Where's this club going?
You think of how many managers? Didn't they get a Northern Irish lad in? Is it Robin? Would it be Robinson?
Yeah, correct.
Good coach from Northern Ireland. He's getting that
Robin.
job. How long did he last?
Yeah, not long. And thankfully he's back up in Scotland. He's manager at Motherwell now.
Oh,
Robbo.
right. So he has come back then.
So he's come back.
But there's not many who does, is there?
Yeah.
There's not many that do.
It's the structure of the club that you've got to be considering, because if your hands are tied, then you're tarnished.
The people you feel sorry for are the people who've been there for 30 years, 20 years, whatever. Which, you know, in these small
Staff
clubs
and-
that are on, you know, bare minimum wage. They're not well paid by any stretch, but they're there in through thick and thin, and they're the ones that you actually feel sorry for.
That's,
You know.
I remember at Bury, the old chairman Stuart Day. There was a cleaner there. It worked nearly every hour of the day. Just loved Bury.
Yeah.
Was there, you know. The pay day before Christmas was like 3 days before Christmas, and Stuart Day didn't pay him. Didn't pay the cleaner. You know, like
That's catastrophic for those
unbelievable.
types of people.
Yeah.
he was practically in tears.
Yeah. Catastrophic.
What chance have you got?
yeah, it's fucking. But the thing is, it'll.
It needs sorting out. It does need sorting out, the structure of football in this country. And I'm not talking about the have and the have-nots, but even at that level, there needs to be a different structure in place for me.
The PFA have got to have a responsibility, and it has to fall on their toes. If somebody's taking over a club,
The FA, you mean? The Football League
the FL,
thing.
sorry, the FL.
The AFL.
Sorry, yeah, the AFL. They're supposed to have this fit and proper owners test that needs restructuring, because it's obviously
Yeah, it's a joke.
it's not in the right. It's not right at the minute, because it's club after club after club that these people aren't fit to run a club.
Thing is, there's a fraud case being opened up, aren't they, at Bury?
Yeah, Bury.
So
Right.
why do they have to wait till now to realise that there's, you know,
Something
something's
not
not
been
right?
Yeah, absolutely. That's what I'm saying. It's like, there's a. Well, I'm not. Wouldn't know for sure, but there's obviously a reason why certain people take on football clubs.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Buying it, especially that fucking clown at Bury, because
yeah,
Both of them.
when he's even said, like, I've never been to Bury.
yeah.
I didn't even know Bury had a football team.
Yeah.
Well, why are you buying it for £1 then?
because it's a quick flip. People are buying football clubs for a quick flip. You know, you buy it for £1, take on the debts. In 2 years, you might be able to get 3, 4, 5 million for it, and it's a quick investment.
The assets.
And let's forget, Bury got promoted.
Yeah, I know. Fucking.
And I'll have done that. Unbelievable.
Yeah.
What's his name's done a great job. Again, I can't remember his name. Ryan Lowe, yeah, he's done a great job. And now look.
Yeah, it's fucking. I think he obviously knew the script, didn't he, and thought, I'm fucking taking that Plymouth job.
Yeah. There was one other tweet before we finish off. There was one other message on Twitter, and I don't know if this is a true story or what, about you putting a heart rate monitor on a dog.
No.
No,
that was Ian Marshall.
Was it? I said Ian Marshall. Did I thought it was Ian Marshall?
Ian Marshall did that. But I was there when he did it. Well, I was there when I heard the story. See, so heart rate monitors came out in the, I don't know, early to mid 90s, but some clubs would sort of take it on board, some clubs would not. So as the case may be, but at Leicester, one of the clubs that would was he at Leicester or Bolton? No, he was at Bolton.
Think it was at Bolton.
It was at Bolton, but no, Leicester. So they'd take you home if you haven't played. Say on a Saturday, they'd make you wear a heart rate monitor, and you'd have to show them that you'd done some kind of exercise on the Sunday, because they expect the heart rate monitor back, and then they would test it, so they'd know. So Marshy, who I'm good friends with, he lives in Leicester now. He's at Bolton, and obviously he didn't play much under Sam Allardyce. And Marshy's one of the, I'm not saying he was the worst professional ever.
You're close.
But he was the worst professional ever. he did not give a flying fuck about football. I swear to God. The only thing, if he played great, okay, he might be fucking happy for 3 seconds. If he didn't play, he was still the grumpiest fucking man on this earth alive today. So obviously, Big Sam's come in, revolution. We're starting the revolution, whatever it was, with the heart rate monitors and all the
GPS and all that shit.
And all this, and it's all about recovery, not about getting them on the fucking. I wish somebody had told Mickey Adams that fucking 12 years ago, 13 years ago. It's fat. Anyway, so obviously Marshy didn't play that much under Sam. He more often than not come on as a sub, or he might start the odd game when he left Leicester to go there. And that was just before. This is when Bolton were in the Championship at that time under Sam. So the story goes that Marshy gets handed the heart rate monitor. He's been on the bench, hasn't started, hasn't got on. And instead of doing the running after,
so you got to strap this on, go for your run,
go and do something. Go do something on a fucking Sunday. And Marshy, bothered the way he fucking was, went, fuck that, I'm not doing fuck all. But what he used to do was take his dog for a walk on a Sunday. So he strapped the heart rate monitor on his fucking dog, took his dog for a walk, and obviously lets the dog off a lead in the park. The dog's fucking running round. Right, then brings the heart rate monitor back in on the Monday, gives it to the sports fucking agent, whoever you call them, and they stick it on the machine. And according to Marcy, he said all the fucking ratings were off the fucking charts. They couldn't make the head and their tail of all the fucking ratings. So obviously,
how far did you run yesterday? It says on here you've done 23 miles.
And that's the bit Marshy fails to understand, is that when the ratings come up, if you strap it on a fucking dog who's running around and heartbeat is about 3 times as fast as a fucking human, it might just fucking go off the fucking charts, which it did.
It's a great idea, though, isn't it? Great idea.
I'll tell you, Marshy, the most bothered man ever. What a player, by the way, as well, Marshy on his day, but bothered? Fuck that.
Just not asked.
Just not asked.
Well, cheers, mate.
Yeah, thank you very much.
Brilliant.
Pleasure, boys.
Enjoyed that.
Pleasure.
Anything else? Before we go this week, another huge thank you to our sponsors for this show, the Football Pools. And don't forget, you can get over to www.footballpools.com/cosh and claim your 4 free games with your £10 subscription. Each week, pick your 10 teams, 3 points for a score draw, 2 points for a no score draw, 1 point for a home or away win, and be in with that chance of winning up to £3 million, as well as the prize draws for up to £75,000, the £20,000 car, or them fantastic hospitality trips to Champions League games across Europe. So sign up to the Football Pools and help support the podcast by going to www.footballpools.com/cosh.